Good morning, everyone. Welcome into the Sunday Social live stream. I'm your host today, Dylan Clemons, with Michael Plant out in Mexico. We got Joe Bond here back for his rankings segment, founder of Fantasy Six Pack, and right now he's in second place in the rankings competition over on Fantasy Pros. Joe, how you doing this morning, man?
Good, man. Looking forward to wrapping up the season. It's been a long one. It feels good to get to the end. It really does. I'm not gonna lie. It's a grind.
Yeah, no, that is for sure. I think a lot of fantasy football content creators are ready for a little bit of a break here, so I get that for sure. Before we jump into Joe's rankings, I want to remind everyone, please hit that like button if you haven't already. Please subscribe to the channel, hit that bell for notifications so you know when we go live. And then head on over to fantasy6pack.net/plans to become an all-access member, and that's where you get access to Joe's award-winning rankings, access to draft cheat sheets, fantasy baseball, guys, right around the corner. Yep. You also get access to F6P Discord, where you get custom advice for your leagues, and you get to DM or anybody on staff, guys. The DFS guys, Keith Flemming, Dave Eddy, Chris Robbin. You just chop it up in the channels there as well. Joe will answer any questions you got in the football stuff, baseball stuff, whatever you need. So once again, that's fantasy6pack.net/plans to become an all access member to do that. And there's even some free Discord channels. So if you guys want to just come in there and talk sports with us, we love doing that.
We talk lots of stuff, those specific questions like, hey, who do I start sit? What do I trade? Blah, blah, blah. Like, yep. Yeah, those go behind the paywall, but we talk just general football, update news, give you lots of stuff out there. We just like chatting with everybody. So it's a good time.
Yeah. Yes, it is. Absolutely. But Joe, let's go ahead. Let's jump right into things here. Looking at the quarterback position. You have Brock Purdy a couple spots higher than ECR here as your QB7, taking on the Detroit Lions, who's got a banged up defense here. So what are your thoughts here on Brock Purdy? What's giving you hopes that he could finish in the top 8 here at quarterback?
Yeah, I think you're looking at game script here. I do expect Detroit to get out to a fairly early lead. San Francisco's been struggling. And so, you're going to expect Brock Purdy to pass a lot. I know they haven't, kind of exploded in the passing game. Like, John Jennings has struggled. Debo has mostly struggled. Last week was a bit of a bounce back for him. But there's just enough weapons there for him that, like, he'll figure it out, right? I mean, Garendo is hopefully healthy. So he can be more of a weapon there. But Kittle, Jennings, Debo, Garendo, between the 4 of them, I think he can figure out how to make himself a viable fantasy weapon for you in your championship matchups.
Yeah, no doubt. And last week it was good to see them get Debo back involved in the offense, getting some carries,
right,
as a running back, just getting the ball in his hands and letting him do some work. And he was able to do something for you. So that was good there, and I like that. Switching over to the running back position, Joe. This guy I'm personally excited about this week because we get a full go of Tajay Spears here. ECR still has him as RB18, which surprised me. You have him all the way up in RB1 territory at RB12 here. No Tony Pollard today, so you just think it's all wheels up for Tajay Spears, huh?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen just how much involvement he's had over the last couple of weeks. Anyway, you're now taking away. You're now going to take away Tony Pollard, and I mean it's all systems go, man. It's great matchup too. So yes. You really cannot go wrong here, in my opinion. It's going to be fantastic. So, yeah, I think ultimately, I think what you're seeing there with the ECR is a lot of people maybe were kind of asleep with the news yesterday. It's Saturday. I get it. People can't always react, quite as quickly on Saturdays. So I was able to. I was sitting around and I moved him up, but I expect that ECR to go up. But I do think he's an easy plug and play at this point.
Agreed. Yeah, I'm all about Tajay Spears as well. And when he gets the touches, man, he's explosive. He's a good football player, so that's nice to see. Not to say that Tony Pollard's not good, because we got a good season out of Tony Pollard this year. It kind of sucks that his fantasy owners can't use him in the championship, but even his run in the playoffs here the last couple weeks hasn't been great. So I feel like it's pretty good as long as you handcuffed him with Tajay Spears to. I think you're sitting pretty good here. The next guy I want to bring up, Joe, and that's Tyrone Tracy, rookie running back for the Giants, who's shown a lot of flashes this year. Caught a touchdown last week that kind of saved his fantasy week. It was an awesome touchdown catch in the back of the end zone. You could definitely tell he used to play wide receiver at college there. You have him ranked as RB25. ECR still has him as a RB2, as ECR running back 22. So what's giving you some pause here on Tyrone Tracy?
I mean, it's a couple things, right? I mean, he's coming in banged up. I do expect him to play. But if you really look at the usage, he split a lot with Devin Singletary, the last couple of weeks. I think last week we saw his usage go way back up, but there's still just enough Singletary involved that I do worry. And this offense is just such a mess, man. Like, do you really want to rely on a New York Giant outside of maybe Malik Neighbors just because of the massive amount of targets he sees? And even he's coming in banged up. So it's like, how confident are you there? I mean, like, we're probably seeing Malik Neighbors, one of the lowest ranked that, we've had since week 2 for me. Mm-hmm. It's just because he's banged up and we are still dealing with, who's starting a quarterback? Who cares, right? It's bad.
Drew Lock, I guess.
Yeah, it's not good. So, yeah, I mean, last week's usage for them, he was on the field a lot more. He was on the field for 33 snaps as opposed to Singletary's 13. But I mean, 7 rushing attempts, 4 attempts for Singletary. Yeah, he saw 4 targets as opposed to 0. So the usage was heavily in favor of Tracy. But just a week prior to that, it was 9-7 rushes between the two of them, 4 to 3 targets. The usage just isn't like we were seeing in week 10-ish, right? Where he was getting 18 carries, that kind of stuff. That's when we really liked Tyrone Tracy, when he was just getting so much usage and it was definitely his backfield. He got banged up. The offense went totally south, and they've just started mixing Singletary back in just slightly more and more. And it's kind of like, all right, that's what I mean. I'm a big proponent of volume. Will carry you a little bit. Yes, if he scores another touchdown, he'll finish inside RB2, definitely. Possibly top end RB2. I'm not banking on many touchdowns from this Giants offense.
Yeah, I was just going to add that to it. How many scoring opportunities are the Giants actually really going to have in this game, man? It's not going to be many. So yeah, I don't hate you having Tyrone Tracy outside your top 24. I definitely get it. Switching over to the wide receiver position, and a guy who you like 6 spots higher than ECR, and that's Jacoby Myers of the Raiders, who's really taking control as kind of the alpha wide receiver there. I know there's Brock Bowers there as well, and he's kind of the alpha of the offense because that dude's awesome. But Jacoby Myers, you have him as ECR, you have him as wide receiver 22 here. So what are your thoughts on Jacoby Myers and you having him inside a wide receiver 2 territory?
Yeah, I mean, look, this is a 2-person passing offense, right? We know that. It's Brock Bowers, it's Jacoby Myers. So the volume funnels through the both of them. Last week, the volume was a little down for Myers, but typically we're seeing 13, 10, 9, 11 targets for Jacoby Myers. You love to see that. Even still with low amounts of targets last week, he saw 2 end zone targets. That's 2 weeks in a row now. So they're not only using him all over the field, they're using him inside the red zone. So you got to like that. The matchup against the Saints, I mean, we saw how bad the Saints were last week, and I don't expect them to be much better this week. Now, the one worry, right, is that the Raiders get up big and then they stop passing the game. I don't think the Raiders are good enough to just blow out a team.
No.
So I'm not as worried about that as I think I've heard some are. Like, oh, the Raiders is going to get it big, and it's not going to be a big deal, and it's going to be a Madison game. And I mean, yeah, I sort of hear you, but the Raiders offense is not going to just like blow people out. Like, look, the Raiders have been in close games the last couple of weeks against pretty mediocre talent. So I expect it to kind of be the same this week.
Yep. No, I definitely get what you're saying there. The next guy here, man, and I gotta bring him up. And this is just awful, man. Injuries have played a big part in week 17 of fantasy championships this year, unfortunately. And this one directly impacts Tyreek Hill with Tua Tagovailoa going down with a hip injury. They did roll him out yesterday. So that's And Joe, ECR has him as wide receiver 21. You dropped him all the way to wide receiver 30. And we've seen what Tyreek Hill has done without Tua this year, and it hasn't been pretty. So that it sucks having to do that, man, but I totally get it. So what are your thoughts on Tyreek Hill?
I mean, you said it. You said it. Without Tua, this offense is an absolute train wreck, and you cannot count on anybody. The only person I feel at least somewhat comfortable starting is HN and kind of Jonnu Smith, only because you don't have a lot of other options. But even he got dropped yesterday. He was sitting around tight end 4 for me, I believe. And I sent you the
I'm looking for it. You moved. Yep, you moved to 10. Yep.
Yeah. So it's not great.
And then Joe, we got a question here from Brandon, and let's give him a freebie. Since we talked Tajay Spears and we now just talked Tyreek Hill, he's saying he could sit Tyreek Hill and play Spears to get Spears in his lineup. Would you do that on Championship Sunday?
Sit Tyreek Hill to put in Spears, so Hill was in your flex? Yeah, I would actually. Right. Hill's. I mean, you can go back and look at the games without Tua. I mean, Hill was absolute dumpster fire. Everybody was on that offense. Like I had at one point with Waddle kind of on the fence of playing, but I had him up in like kind of that flex territory. He's now outside of flex territory. I just want nothing to do with the passing offense.
Yeah.
Like maybe they'll surprise, but I mean, it's gonna have to be a surprise. I mean, that's what it's gonna be.
Yeah. Yep, for sure. You already touched on Jonnu Smith here now, so we'll switch over to a different tight end here. And let's talk about Chigakonkwo, Joe. You have him as top 5 tight end this week. As your tight end 5, ECR still has him down as tight end 9, but it's looked pretty good with Mason Rudolph here the last couple weeks. So give me your thoughts here on Chig.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I'm making the same mistake that I did with Brenton Strange 2 weeks ago. I put Brenton Strange way high up last week, and that did not pan out. But look, 2 weeks in a row now with Chig. Now some of that has been game flow. The coaches come out and said it that look, they've gotten down, they've had to play catch up, and defenses have strayed away from covering him. So maybe he doesn't blow up, but I think there's enough there now, 2 weeks in a row. I know small sample size, but look, we're looking at small sample size windows at this point. Like you're looking for just like catch fire, right? And Okonkwo, 10 targets, 9 targets the last 2 weeks, absolutely just crushing it. Tight end 1 the last 2 weeks combined. I'm all over that. So let's just ride the train here and hope it hits, because I mean, like, as much as tight end has sort of rebounded over the last half of the season here, it still hasn't like crushed to the point that we had last year, right? So, I mean, look, the Cardinals, as good as Trey McBride has been, the Cardinals absolutely manufactured a touchdown last night for Trey McBride. I don't know if you saw that.
They did, Joe. They were doing everything.
That was absolutely crazy. It was like even the announcement was like, "Oh, look, they're shuffling all 3 out. They're bringing him back in. Oh yeah, they're going to just screen pass it to him." It was totally obvious, and it was like, Rams, why? How do you not just like shuffle everybody over there? That was clearly where the play was going. But I digress.
Yep. Yeah. No, that was definitely funny to see them trying to get doing everything they could to get him a touchdown, which he deserved it, man.
Oh, absolutely.
Fantasy managers deserved it too. He's been awesome all year. It's just
my
touchdown.
daughter, who's in the championship game for us in my home league. I laugh because she started Geno. She was one of those, they got bit by Geno. And I call, I think like one other player kind of busted. And then last night, Trey McBride blows up, and I'm like, oh, okay. I mean, I will literally never hear the end of it if she wins. Never.
That's fantastic, though, man. I hope
and as I shouldn't, but it's it was funny. So it was funny story. So we were, she was asking me. She's like, "Oh, well, you're not in it anymore. So can you finally help me?" And I'm like, "Okay." So we're looking at a quarterback, and I'm like, "You should go pick up Herbert." And I'm like, "Screw these guys. You should go pick up Herbert." She didn't get him. The guy that I'm playing in third place got him, and I messaged him, and I was like, Mulangu, come on, dude. Why are you picking up people? Like, who cares? We don't have anything to play for.
That's kind of a bummer.
It was just it's just pretty funny. But and Herbert blew up. I looked at her because she was mad at me. I told her to play Geno over Russ Wilson, and I'm like, Russ Wilson didn't have a good game. I don't really know. He rarely ran. But she's mad at me because I told her to play Geno over Russell. And then
where she is.
And then I was like, well, at least I was right about Herbert. You just didn't get him.
Yep. Bingo. There it is.
Can't do anything about that.
Yep. Can't go back down to you on that, man, for sure. But Joe, that's some great stuff, man. But we'll let you get going here so you can concentrate on the rankings competition. We appreciate your time. Before you get out of here, let everyone know where they can find your stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So over at fantasy6pack.net, on Twitter at F6P_Joe, Blue Sky, it's F6PJoe.fantasy6pack.net or whatever. And then so football season's winding down. We're kicking into high gear with baseball. I'm actually going to be pumping out a couple articles. I'm at least doing one article today, not me. I'm publishing an article today, and then there's going to be a bunch of dynasty stuff coming out over the next few weeks here for sure. And then redraft will really start kicking up. I've already got the initial draft rankings out. Those will be tweaked constantly as we get closer to the season, and then the cheat sheet will probably launch closer to February. Once we get things more settled. You want to draft right now? You probably don't need a cheat sheet. Let me be honest. You probably got your own process. I'm making that for the masses. So, but hit me up. Jump over in that Discord. We love just chatting with everybody. So, thanks, Dylan, for doing this. Mike, if you're listening, thanks for everybody and everybody else that jumps in on this show. It looks like Alan might be frozen in the background. Either that or are we just looking at his beard? There we go. Extreme close up. All right, guys. Have a good one.
Yep. See you, Joe. Thanks. Good luck. All right. Time for our best bet segment. And here helping us do like he is mostly every Sunday is Alan Sandage. What's up, my friend?
Yeah. Nothing's up, man. It's terrible. Last week was rough. And then yesterday, I gotta fight the Bengals, man. I gotta fight the Bengals. I had the Broncos plus 3.5. It was a great play for like every minute of the game. It was a great play until these jerks kept going for touchdowns. Win the game, man. Stop with the style plays. Like, it's so stupid. Man, and just can I say, like, how dumb it is for Zach Taylor to give them that much time and the timeout. Like, there's certain things where you have to play by the rules. It reminds me of, like, All Madden. You know how when you try to do too much on All Madden, you always get punished. Like, if you should have punted, you're always going to fumble on the next play. Yeah, and I used to think it was fake, but that's how real life is. Because you didn't run the clock out or because you didn't make them use their last timeout, guess what? They're going to go down, they're going to score. And it was a great touchdown too, but 9 times out of 10 they overturn that. They're not going to overturn it right there. So
I know. I'm glad they didn't. I was sitting there. We had a little bit of a delayed family Christmas, and I'm like, just call it a touchdown. I'm like, the ball's probably moving, and I get it by rule. It's probably not a touchdown, but just give it to him. It's awesome.
Yeah, and I was like, "Come on, Sean Payton, go for two any other time you would." But I'm gonna be real quick because we gotta get on the road because it's a late game today. We gotta do some
Yep.
pregame stuff instead of postgame. You were right yesterday. This is awful. This is an awful
The
slate.
slate is brutal.
I am reminded of last year the Jets kicking a game-winning field goal against the Commanders, and that's how the Commanders got Jaden Daniels because they ended up losing that game and they got them the number two pick. Apparently, that was on my Twitter. So I say all that to say, teams like the Jags probably want to lose. Like, let's just be honest. They want to lose. They don't want to win. Now, teams like the Titans are so incapable of playing good football that they probably can't win even if you give it to them. So there's a lot of plays today you probably can stay away from. I would give the Panthers credit. They're trying to win. They can't win, but they keep trying, right? So I expect them to cover the 10. I expect that to be a close enough game where they cover the 10. The Buccaneers need to win this game. They kind of control their own destiny a little. The Commanders game, which I'm not there yet, but typically I don't tell people what to do on those games. Look, it's a desperation game for the Commanders and the Falcons because if the Commanders get to 11, they're in, right? There's without question, win and you're in. For the Falcons, like you have to win out, and you're in. So I think Dan Quinn can handle the rookie. I'd be surprised if Penix has some kind of breakout game. I think the Giants kept it very vanilla. He was able to draw the ball, but the Giants suck. The Commanders don't suck. I know people say they're not as good or they're not that good. I mean, yes and no, because I've seen moments of I've seen moments of brilliance. I mean, you look at the teams that you would consider good on their schedule. They competed, if not led those games, and just kind of failed to finish it. What you expect from a team they're one season away from being the number 2 pick. So you expect to see those kind of hiccups. What I saw against the Eagles was a team that actually, like, a light bulb came on. Like, it was like, wait, these are the times where we lose these games. We have a second chance to close this game out. We're going for it. We're not going to be timid. We're not going to let the moment be too big for us. We're going to make plays down the stretch. I think they beat the Falcons. Robinson Bijan scares me a little. I'm not really too scared of Penix. I scouted him at the Senior Bowl last year. I saw a lot of him at Indiana when he could play, and I know what he did at Washington. We're all familiar with that. I think things were very vanilla for him last week. They'll probably still be very vanilla. Dan Quinn and this team has always been prepared in these games, so I expect them to be fully prepared for this game too. And I'm laying the points with the Commanders. It's a lock on my screen right now, but it was at 3.5 from what I saw. So I'll lay the points with the Commanders. I am Team Vikings over Packers. I said that for most of the year. I'm going to stand by it. The Vikings are favored by 1. Sam Darnold got a vote of confidence. Apparently, they want to keep him, which will probably help him play a little bit looser. He doesn't have to play like his career depends on it still. Like they're showing him some confidence. I think that's probably well timed for them because they know they need him focused down the stretch. I think Addison and Jefferson are just too much for these guys right now. The Packers have been playing good ball. Yes, they can run the ball. Yes, you can probably get your yards on the ground against this Vikings team, but just the ability for them to move the ball down the field, I think favors the Vikings over the Packers. I'm not touching the Dolphins. I know somebody out there's probably thinking I'm not. They're outside. It's warmer than normal, but I don't know. Something about it just doesn't sit right with me.
No Tua either, man. So I haven't seen what that line has shifted to since the news.
It's 3.5. They're still favored by 3.5. Yeah. Cowboys, no CD. Eagles, no Hurts. I still think the Eagles on talent alone are good enough to win this game. Another game I'm just gonna stay away from. And Colts, Giants. Flacco's not a downgrade for real, man. And the Colts need to win too. So I'm tempted to consider laying the points with the Colts. Like a game like that is probably going to be a live bet game for me. And I know people probably listen like, well, he's not betting anything. We're we have house money, at least on my end. I'm barely up, Trust me, it's not a lot, but I'm barely up. So in my mind, why blow it all on a terrible week of lines when I can just save it a little bit for next week? Maybe throw some in on Monday night and fade my Niners because I'm sick of them, or just save it for the playoffs, right? Like if we're talking DFS, a little bit different. You can be more aggressive. It doesn't sting as much. In gambling, you don't want to be putting double units on the Cowboys to cover +7.5 with no CD. It don't work that way. But I can build a lineup centered around Cooper Rush, and I won't feel as dumb when I lose like 20, $30, right? So just keep that in mind. You don't have to force it. The Colts line, I think, like I said, is a smidge too high. I wait and live bet that. I do think the Colts will win. I heard Aaron Rodgers may not play today versus the Bills. You got confirmation on that?
I have not heard anything on Aaron Rodgers actually.
If Rodgers plays, I consider it to be I consider taking my points with the Jets. They've been competitive.
For some
Bills,
reason.
I know, right? For some reason, I don't know if the Bills care about beating them like the Patriots hate the Jets. I don't think the Bills hate the Jets quite like the Patriots do.
Sure.
So like it would be more personal if the Patriots had Josh Allen and this type of talent. They'd probably beat them by 100. I think the Bills are just do enough to win the game. And at this point for them, the most important thing is get wins and stay healthy, right? Like I don't think style points matter for them anymore. They got to watching the Chiefs on their last game against the Steelers. We can just go ahead and say they've got the #1 spot locked up. And then the Raiders, again, a team that honestly should not be winning games, but they did last week, I believe. I'll lay the 2 with the Raiders. It's really dumb though. Like a team that needs a quarterback to win games down the stretch like this is really stupid. And that's pretty much it, man. That's all I got. Because again, I'm not gonna be on your show and tell people to back certain teams knowing how bad they are. Like we're not gonna do that. We'll just take it easy. Like I said, I like the Vikings. I like the Commanders. I like the Panthers with all the points they're getting, and everything else is circumstantial. Probably live bets if I want to do it just to see how the game plays out.
Cool. Yeah, and I agree with you. We talked yesterday a little bit that this slate of games is not good, and the amount of injuries that we got here the past couple of days hasn't helped things either. So
I don't know what's more frustrating in the last couple of weeks of NFL or bowl season. Like what, dude? Could you? God bless you if you bet the Hurricanes yesterday at any point, and Cam Ward sitting there in the second half.
Come on, man.
Again, I'm not opposed to it. I'm just saying, like, man, I would need answers if I had money on it. Like, did you know this was happening? Like,
that's tough. It really is a tough look, man. When you, especially with college stuff being new to gambling here the last few years, it's that's brutal with him sitting out. And then the coach had no comment on it after the game. It's like, okay, I get it. I get it from Ward's perspective, like you said, but that hurts. That hurts us degenerates.
I don't like Cristobal anyway, so I wouldn't blame him for not risking the future of his career on Mario Cristobal. And like I tell people, imagine you're a quarterback. You score imagine you're college Joe Burrow. You're scoring 40 plus a game, and you're still losing games. Like the fact that it's 28-28 at the half, I would have sat too. Like this is ridiculous. I'm sick of this.
Agreed, Alan. But all right, man, I'll let you get out of here. Let you get on the road. Get you ready so you can prepare for the Commanders game tonight. But before you get out of here, just remind everyone where they can find your stuff, man.
On 106.1 ESPN Richmond app. Bit of an abbreviated schedule. I'm probably only on Friday, which I'll be live from the Duke's Mayo Bowl. Outside of that, cool. we'll be transitioning to basketball. I am going to go to the Senior Bowl. Unfortunately, I was only able to get media. Week of game only for the Super Bowl, and which is cool because I've only been doing this for a year, but it doesn't give me access to the game. Likely wouldn't get Radio Row, which I need those things to monetize, so it just would have been too expensive. I personally want to go to the Senior Bowl anyway. I like stuff like that. So be on the lookout for me just jumping in and chiming in on people that may or may not suck. For the record, I did say I thought Bo Nix would be a better prospect than Michael Penix after watching him at the Senior Bowl. So if you go to the practices and you watch them in the drills and things like that, you can get a good feel for these guys. So it's gotten a whole lot better. I think this is our third year going, but even from year 1 to year 2, significantly different. Like they take it way more serious than they used to. So it's a good chance to assess some of these guys.
Awesome. Good deal, Alan. Yeah, guys, make sure to check his stuff. Make sure to check out the Senior Bowl coverage that he's going to have going on. But Alan, awesome season, man. We appreciate you coming on here as much as you could this year. And hopefully we keep it going next year, man.
All right, man. Take care.
Yep, you too. Good luck today.
Yep.
All right, guys, everybody. We appreciate all these comments we got going on in the YouTube channel and on Facebook. So we're gonna jump right into the Start Sit segment, and helping me do so this week with Michael Plant in Mexico, we got JJ Schultz. What's going on, man?
What's up, man? How you doing today?
I'm doing well. And then we have Ike Bonnie, my friend. What's going on? How you doing?
Good. How about you?
Good. No complaints. We've been rocking and rolling here with Joe's ranking segment. He's going for a championship this week and for his first time ever in the Fantasy Pros competition. We had Alan here talk. We had Alan here talking his best bets, man. And there really isn't many best bets this week. This slate of games is something, man. And especially with all the injuries we got piling up, like JJ Ike, because of the injuries, who are you having to plug into your lineups this week? In your fantasy championships, like who's your most obscene person here?
Michael Wilson. I had to play him yesterday.
That's guy, yeah.
I had to play him yesterday.
That one's a big one that jumps to mind. I'm trying to think. I don't have anyone that stands out as like overly egregious of my teams I have.
That's pretty good, man.
So yeah, it's Michael Wilson. I would have to say yesterday. And
Chigo Conquo, I guess.
Chig's okay though. Joe has him ranked as the top 5 tight end this week, man.
Hell yeah, then.
But at least, well, it sounds like you're not in dire straits like Dollar.
I guess,
Bill
but
here,
I mean, I guess that's why that team is in the championship, right? Because like they had enough depth to withstand a few injuries here and there. So
for sure.
There's something to be said about that.
Our first question, man, here has to do with Rasheed Blackshear. That's where we're at here. And Amadeus Zacchaeus here. Would you guys go Blackshear, Zacchaeus, or Kendre Miller at the flex after, unfortunately, a down week from the Kendre Miller last week when we thought he could have been okay? JJ, I'll start with you.
So assuming he's still going to be returning kicks, like if you have return yardage, I think you go him and then just hope for 8 to 10 points on offense and then give him some extra points on the returning side. But I don't feel great about that one just in the championship week. So Kendre should have a pretty guaranteed workload. So I'm kind of leaning between those two without knowing the full scoring. I guess I'll say Kendre 1, but then, if you got the return yardage bump, I'll throw Blackshear in there and hope they keep him back there returning kicks.
And it's a pretty good matchup for Kendre this week against the Raiders as well. It's not like they shouldn't get blown out, man. Like the line is -1 in favor of the Raiders here, so they should stay in this game. Kendre kind of just got game scripted out last week because they had zero chance of being able to run the ball, being able to win that game. So I think I'm actually going to lean Kendre here as well. Like, what do you got?
I'm going to go Kendre. I feel like he should still be the main guy.
And we don't even know if Blackshear is going to get the full workload. Like I saw Miles Sanders might be back this week as well. They activated him off IR, I thought I saw. So maybe he gets split in. We know he's not very good, but still. So yeah, it's a big question mark for Blackshear for sure. And I'm good on going Kendre, who, like you said, JJ, and he has a pretty solid workload as long as that game stays close. Next one here, we got thoughts on Aaron Jones versus Achane, who has been awful when Tua has not played this year. Ike, where are you going here with Aaron Jones or?
I'm still going Achane. He got you to your championship. Might as well keep rolling with it. And like he could get a lot more touches.
He could. No revenge game love from Aaron Jones here, taking on the old Packers.
He already had his revenge game. He already played him once this year, so now it's just another game.
JJ, I have a feeling you're going to go opposite end here, and I think you like Aaron Jones, right?
I do, yeah, man. I like Aaron Jones this week. I mean, we've just seen anytime he's healthy, man, like he's a must-start guy. That being said, though, I'm not benching A-Chain unless I just have like a killer group of options behind him. Like I'm finding a way to get both these guys in the lineup. I was reading, I wish I could remember who sent out the tweet, but I want to say like in the 4 games that A-Chan's played without Tua, he's averaged under 5 fantasy points a game. So I'm not going to say there's no risk there that like even if he does get that workload, it may not be a lot of fantasy points just because I mean, this team just does not run well. We've seen when Tua goes down, it doesn't matter who they throw back their quarterback. Right. The offense does not run. So I'm not going to say it's like a risk-free start on H-Ham, but yeah, I'm probably still going to find a way to flex him. But yeah, Aaron Jones, if it's down to these two, I'm going Aaron Jones.
Yeah, I give a slight lean to Aaron Jones myself here. Just, like we said, we got a little bit of a sample size with Tua was out, and it was not pretty for H-Man.
It's like confusingly bad once.
it really is, and it disappoints me a little bit with Mike McDaniels as a coach, man, with allowing the offense just to happen like that, just with losing Tua. But I get it. Here, another question. We got Adam Thielen or Josh Downs with Joe Flacco back under center. And I know Flacco might be a little bit of an upgrade than Anthony Richardson through the passing game. But remember, guys, it wasn't pretty the last time we saw Joe Flacco. So I'm curious your thoughts. JJ, let's start with you.
I'll go Downs here. He's just kind of shown that he's quarterback proof. Like, it seems like no matter who comes in, when he's healthy, he's the guy that's getting the most consistent target share. Thielen, I mean, he's been on the heater too as well. So if you have a gut call, I'm okay going that way. But yeah, I feel like assuming that we get 4 full quarters of Flacco, I feel like it is a good target floor for Downs where we should get 7-8 targets and they connect on half of those at least. I think that Downs has a pretty nice day here.
Yeah, I think he's going to be fine as well. Ike, what do you got here between these two?
I'm leaning Thielen. With no running game, I'm assuming no running game, they're going to be passing a lot. Bryce Young has figured it out these past few weeks, and having Thielen back is what has helped him. So I'm going to keep rolling with Thielen.
I think that's where I lean. I side with Ike here with Thielen as well, with Chuba going on IR. Guys, I'm so happy for Bryce Young. I really am, because have we seen in the middle of the season, Bryce Young was an awful quarterback to begin the year. He gets benched. He comes back, man. He's like a totally different guy. Like, do you see him has he solidified his role as the QB1 for Carolina, at least heading into next year? Could we call him even maybe?
At least another year for sure. It's a big cautionary people for everybody writing off Caleb Williams as a bust right now too. I mean, at this time last year, that was no doubter of I want Stroud over Young. It's not even close. And I still want Stroud over Young, but I mean, it's a conversation now. Like, they're like, Young is definitely going to be locked in, I would assume, for the rest of his rookie contract, but definitely next year.
I've never been more certain about it matters where quarterbacks go and what situation they fall into, man. And it has really shown the last few years.
That's
he's awesome.
Story there,
yeah. Dave Canales is an awesome.
Like, the fact he was able to, like you mentioned, like bench him and then still get this play out of him after that. Like, he knows what he's doing in the locker room there.
Yep. And who would have? And like, Bryce got his job back too because Andy Dalton got in a car accident, man, and hurt his thumb. Like,
weird, man.
Who would have even known when we were going to see Bryce again if that didn't happen? It's crazy stuff. We got one from Jay here, full PPR. Jameson Williams, McMillan, or Jaden Reed, man. Ike, I'll let you start with you. We kind of touched on it on Friday that you're a little bit scared off of McMillan here this week because he's been running hot on touchdowns here. So
it's got to end at some point. But I mean, you never know. It could keep going, but I'm still going JMO over McMillan. And I would do McMillan over Jane Reed. So,
yeah, the thing that I think's given people a little bit of assurance in Jaden Reed this week is because the matchup against Minnesota, who's allowed a lot of fantasy points to opposing wide receivers. But yeah, I'm with you. I don't know if I could go Jaden Reed, man, after what we've seen. So what are your thoughts here, JJ? Are you going to go JMO here, or you got someone else on your mind?
I go JMO here first. It seems just like every time they play in prime time, like he catches at least one long touchdown. I don't know if that's actually true, if it's just kind of how my brain's remembered it. But yeah, I'll go JMO 1, and then I'll go Jaden Reed over McMillan. Okay. I mean, I get it. I don't feel great about either of these guys. Reed, I'm pretty sure, still led the team in receiving last week. It's just the whole team, it seems like, on the receiving side has kind of gone down a little bit. So yeah, I can understand if you want to go McMillan over, but yeah, I think we're both okay locking in JMO here.
Yeah, I'm gonna side with you guys, making a clean sweep, going Jameson Williams, and then we got some breaking news here from the second best Jordan Schultz. Chase Brown diagnosed with a high ankle sprain.
Damn.
So yeah, that's not ideal there. I actually missed the play. It
Sixers
happened
in
on
the
him
Elite
sliding
82
down.
championship. What was that?
I said I missed the play that it happened on. It really happened on him sliding down, not trying.
Yeah, he didn't want to go in the end zone, and he slid down a little bit. It didn't even look that bad. Just it got caught under the.
Even just like watching it on the replay later, because I was actually driving during the game, so I didn't get to watch it happen. And yeah, when I was watching it later on SportsCenter, I was just like, oh, like that's where he got hurt. Like, what even happened there?
Yeah, that's weird. And then Zach Taylor, and they score right after that, even though he tried not to score. Right? It's
Burrow.
Yeah, that really is too bad. That's my guy Chase Brown there. Shout out Illini. Alexander here, currently deciding between Flacco and AOC to replace Hurts. Weather seems to favor AOC. Who would you suggest? Same issue between Reed and London in PPR. Yeah, I'm gonna go Drake London over Jaden Reed still. Do you guys agree with that? The second part, JJ, you all right with that?
Oh yeah, for sure. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then what are you? We'll start with you, JJ. Flacco or AOC?
Let me see here. Colts got Giants, and then Raiders.
The Raiders get somebody bad. Where did it go?
They got the Saints.
Saints.
I'll go with my boy AOC here.
That's what I was leaning to.
It's one of those where I'd say if you have a gut call where you're leaning one way, just trust it, because I think they're both I think that both of their ceilings probably capped at like the 15 to 18 point range, and so yeah, I'll go AOC here. I trust his matchup a little bit more.
Yeah, I'm okay with that as well. I'll go ahead and make it a clean sweep with going Aiden O'Connell.
There's just nobody on that Saints offense. I could see them having a lot of short fields.
Yeah. Full point PPR, Jake Ferguson against the Eagles, who might be the number one target in the offense this week.
The number
we
one
got Dalton, or we got Dalton Kincaid against the Jets.
Ferguson.
I'm gonna go Ferguson. Yeah.
Oh yeah, cousin for Lambeau Fergie. Let's get it. New cousin Schultz.
Yep. The no ceiling Dalton Kincaid lives on for another week, man. We got Jordan Love or Sam Darnold here. I think it's pretty easy. I think it's Sammy D, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't think we have much to say. The weapons are great. No Jair Alexander there covering the weapons for the Packers. So yeah, I'm going Sam Darnold. Albert says, good morning, everybody. Appreciate all the questions for helping you. Hopefully we are. Please hit that like button. Please subscribe. That'll be the last time I ask you that, I promise. We got full PPR from Zach here. We got Jerome Ford versus Miami. Or Tajay Spears.
Tajay, baby, no Pollard.
Yeah, it's Tajay. Although I like Ford too.
I was gonna say I'd like to get both of them, those guys in the lineup if possible. But yeah, I'm going Spears. Joe had him as a top 12 guy this week, and I think that's absolutely correct. That's where I'd have him as.
This could have been what he was doing all year, but no, they had to get Tony Pollard.
Mm-hmm. And then we got Jerome Ford against Miami or London against Washington. I can't get off Drake London, man. Yeah, he's good player, touchdown scorer. I kind of like what we saw from Michael Penix last week. And JJ, like you said, dude's got a rocket.
Sorry, slang that thing, man.
Yeah, he was. He's got a cannon. Ike, what are your thoughts here between London and Jerome Ford?
If it wasn't such a good matchup, I'd do Ford over London. But since London's playing Washington, you kind of have to go with him, even though you probably should temper your expectations on him for sure, because it's more of a run team with Penix right now. Actually, has been all year, but still.
Yeah, getting Bijan going again, hopefully.
Yeah, as they should. Like Alan said, this is a must-win game for the Falcons. So I bet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they control their destiny. They can win out here.
Yep. And then we got Kendre Miller against the Raiders or Alexander Madison against the Saints. Oof.
Miller.
Yeah. I'm gonna go Kendre as well. Like we talked the heck out of Amir Abdullah on the Friday show, so I'm gonna lean Abdullah here. Or I'm gonna lean Kendre over Madison because the presence of Abdullah.
Mm-hmm.
We got another one here. Full PPR. Pick 2 running backs to play. Devon Achane, Bijan Robinson, Bucky Irving, Jahmyr Gibbs. I'm gonna sit Achane out of those with the
Bijan no matter what.
You're firing.
I'm going Gibbs. I can't sit Gibbs.
Gibbs, yeah.
Yeah, that's a tough one, man. Having
Great
to
group
sit
for running
Bucky
backs there.
and such. Yeah, that's definitely a great group, but that's probably why he's in the championship there, man. That makes a lot of sense here. One from Dion. Good to see you, man. Brian Thomas Jr., Jaden Reed, McMillan.
BTJ maybe
Needs
Yeah.
one.
Yeah,
BTJ.
BTJ. No, yeah.
I got
Second
no
one's
problem
tougher,
going
but I'm
that as
going Jet.
I think that like that's one of our
He was
better
out.
calls of the year, Dylan, is like in week 2 or 3 on this show, we said like it's just the vibes around BTJ are they're there, man. Like he's him.
Good football player.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very good. Very good. And then we got Jonu or Chig. I'm gonna go Chig.
Yeah, no Tua. I'm okay going
Yeah.
Chig.
Yeah. I
Well,
guess. Although I'm pretty sure Jonu started doing good when Tua was out. I think that's like when he started like figuring it out a little bit. But
I'm actually gonna walk that back. I think I'm gonna go Johnny here. He has
okay.
been really freaking good all year. Yeah.
It has. All right. I'm still sticking with Chig there. Next one here, we got Josh Downs, Tyrone Tracy, Brian Robinson, who screwed everybody last week, full PPR. Have to choose to. Yeah.
In retrospect, against that matchup, we probably should have seen that coming. But
yeah. Yeah, it's hard though, man, when you fumble twice. Like it's like had he fumbled all year, I'm not sure. So
I don't think he's had a multiple fumble game like that. I'm pretty sure of that. No.
That was a bad time. Bad time for sure. Yeah.
I'd be starting B-Rob this week.
Yeah.
He's been good for most weeks except for last week. So
I think he's in. We need another one here out of Downs and Tracy.
Tracy is healthy, so I'm gonna go Tracy here. Yeah, I mean he's got a nice pass catching floor as a running back there too. I think that the Giants could get beat pretty good in this one, so they'll be throwing the ball. So yeah, give me Tracy and B-Rap here.
I think I'm gonna go slight lean with Josh Downs just because I think that Giants offense is just so bad, and it scares me with how many scoring opportunities they're really gonna have here. Is Dabble getting canned, guys?
I don't know. I think he probably
maybe give him one more year because you got Shador coming more than likely.
Draft a quarterback, and then if depending how that looks, they'll make their call.
Yeah, that if he gets let go, he's going to be one of the most sought after offensive coordinators around if he decides to coach this year. So I'm curious.
Oh yeah, if you get him as an OC, I'm all in for that. I don't know if I'm in on.
He might take a year off, but next year he should be heavy favorite
in the head coaching stuff. Yeah,
or at least offensive coordinator.
Yeah, yep. Yeah, we got one from Dion. Another Baker Mayfield or Goff.
Monday night Goff, baby. Let's get it. Let's win it on Monday night.
On the road. Okay. Baker gets who do the Bucks get, guys? Panthers. Ooh.
Good matchup, but Goff's just been so good, man.
Yeah, yes, he has, and it hasn't mattered. It hasn't mattered if he was outdoors. I made sure to touch on that last week, JJ, on this show, talking about his indoor-outdoor splits, and it didn't matter last week in crappy weather in Chicago for Goff. I think, with that said, still, I think I lean Baker because of the matchup against the Panthers.
With Mike Evans back, like I get it, like they're right back where they left off.
Yeah, like where you going here? Break the tie. You're gonna go Goff. Okay. All right, I like it. One from Owen here. We got Michael Penix or just Smoking Joe Flacco.
Go Penix here. Shoot the kid got, man. Riding to a championship.
I don't know what to do here.
Like I
said, it wasn't great from Flacco the last time we saw it. That's what worries me.
That could be what's like tainting my brain is that last performance. I'm just like, all right, it might be over for our boy. It's Jover.
I'm gonna go Penix here. That's where I lean.
I think it's gonna be a high scoring game there.
Very well could be. Then we got from Raul, Jalen McMillan over BTJ with Mac Jones playing in bad weather in Jacksonville. I'm still gonna go BTJ there.
Yeah, start your studs here.
If I sit him and he catches a long touchdown, or even if it's bad weather and
you'll hate yourself.
He catches a screen and breaks a couple tackles, makes a couple guys miss, and takes one to the house. Yeah, you will absolutely hate yourself. So,
I'm okay with McMillan scoring on my bench. I'm not okay with BTJ scoring on my bench.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at as well there. So I think it's a clean sweep here for Brian Thomas Jr. Does anyone want to try to pronounce that name? Bamo Hamo? That made me. That's funny. I like that. Halfway PPR. Who would you drop out of Jacoby Myers, Jaden Reed, or Jameson Williams?
So assuming this is probably like a dynasty maybe or a keeper type league, is this what I'm guessing maybe? Or is he just saying
I would
like
drop Reed.
What are you? Yeah, right. What are you dropping him at this point? Unless you have a Week 18 championship.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, assuming there's a keeper
Yeah.
aspect, I'm dropping Myers. Assuming that's like Jacoby Myers, and I'm keeping Jaden and JMO. If it's like a keeper dynasty type question, if we're talking about just benching somebody for the week, probably Jaden Reed.
I think so as well. And if
Myers still sees targets, man. I like 8+, and since he's been back from injury, so I'm going with him.
Yeah, I agree, guys. Yeah, I think he said, or you drop Jaden Reed. If this it might be like, it might be a Week 18 championship or something here. So if it's that, I think the answer is Jaden Reed.
You are crazy. Because my whole mission for the offseason, we got a petition to get rid of Week 14 buys and go back to Week 14 through 16 championships for fantasy. So we got to
I don't hate that. Offseason. I don't hate that, man. From Chaz here, morning. We got start AJ Brown with Kenny Pickett at the helm or Devontae Adams. It's Adams, I think.
AJ Brown got a ton of targets still, even with Pickett last
year. With Pickett, he still saw, I think it was like 10+, maybe even more. So I'm going AJ.
Yeah. I'm gonna get both these guys.
Devontae's tough though, but yeah. AJ.
All right. And then we got Aubrey or Reichard. Aubrey
is a certified person.
Aubrey for sure.
I'm gonna go Aubrey as well. Dion had a kicker question too that I forgot to go over last time.
It was
Bass. Tyler Bass. Yeah, don't go Tyler Bass though. That extra point still sticks in my head from weeks ago where he missed. It was the worst kick I've ever seen. So yeah, whoever it was, opposite of Tyler Bass.
No, Cade York is up there with that. Like he did yesterday. That was just
33 yards out and just yanks it. Yeah, that was something too. Good morning, Esteban. We got Hawk or Chig. PPR, tough one.
It's going to be one of those where I'm not going to get cute. I'm going to start my stud here and go with Hawkinson.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Chig was really good last week, so I can understand wanting to ride that, but it's kind of similar to that BTJ one. If Hawk goes off on my bench and Chig just does what Chig does most of the year, like I'm going to be so mad at myself.
The floor is just so much better for Hawk, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel... Yeah, I'm gonna lean there. I think he's the safer play. One from Steven. Would you rather go with Juwan Jennings or Terry McLaurin playing in the rain?
McLaurin.
With all these weather talks, guys, I'm pulling up this weather thread on Twitter.
Assuming it's not like
I gotta see what's going
there.
on.
I'm leaning Terry as well.
Yeah, I'll go Terry. Go ahead, answer this guy for Dion while I'm looking this up. We got Shakir or Jalen McMillan.
Shakir.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
All right. You guys were supposed to talk a little bit more, boys, while I was looking that up.
It is kind of brutal in the Buffalo game. It's like a 6 out of 10. It's
you got I just
so
I just got it as well. Gusts up to 30 mile an hour winds in Buffalo, and then gusts up to 25 to 30 mile an hour winds in Tennessee and Jacksonville. What was that question? So we had Jennings or McLaurin. So I don't know if he doesn't have the.
I'm still going McLaurin. There's rain in for San Francisco. I thought I saw too.
So that one game they had there that was like a rainy game in San Francisco was pretty nasty.
Yeah, the sun he's got for the Washington game is a 6 out of 10 to 10 mile an hour winds, gusts up to 20-25 with rain likely. I'm still going Terry.
I'm going McLaurin still.
Yep.
You guys answered Shakira McMillan right. Okay, we'll go back to Esteban here. Pick one PPR. Brian Robinson, Jalen McMillan, Juwan Jennings.
I'll go B-Rob here.
Yep.
I'm not freaking out over last week's performance. I'll give him another go here, and it's Brian Robinson. Guys, it's gonna suck bad if Jalen McMillan catches another touchdown. We're gonna look stupid, but it is what it is. It is what it is. I guess PPR need to choose one to start. Brandon Cooks, Xavier Leggett, or it's Rasheem Blackshear, right? That's his name.
Yeah.
Or I'm going Cooks.
Yeah, I think Cooks here too. Don't love it, but yeah.
I'm a little scared on going.
Legette's not even the second or
that's
third option right now. Coker is higher than him, so
I know I might go Black. Legette's banged up too. I might go Blackshear. Like I was looking at props and Brandon Cook's receiving yards prop at Vegas, even with CD Lamb going down, was like 31 yards. So they don't really see him.
He's going to get that on 2 catches.
So it sounds like JJ and Ike are going to go Brandon Cooks, and I think I lean Blackshear slightly over him. Another one from Dion: Shakir, Reed, McMillan, Myers, Williams. Need one.
I will go
Shakir.
No, I'm going to go Jacoby Myers instead of Shakir there, actually.
Oh, wow, we're really helpful on this one. I like that.
Alan made a good point, man. What does this game mean for the Bills? That's what worries me. Like, they can't get the number 1 seed with Kansas City winning. I don't think it really matters. So that's why I think I lean Jacoby Myers. I know they're not playing for anything, but he's still seeing his targets. He's still the number 1 wide receiver there. So I'm going to go Myers. McLaughlin or Tyler Bass here for the kickers? McLaughlin.
Yeah.
Yes, that sounds good.
Aubrey, McLaughlin, Bates.
Aubrey.
Aubrey.
Not even in question.
I'm with you. And then for Christopher, we got Rico Dotto or Alexander Madison full point PPR.
I think Dowdle's a strong play. No,
Rico.
Yeah, it's Rico. I can't do Alexander Madison. I really can't. Maybe he's
the touches are going to be way different.
But I know
Dowdle should see 20 plus.
Yeah,
or around.
Agreed there. From Kevin, we got a DST question. We got Cleveland defense, Raiders defense, Lions defense. Lions get San Francisco. We're out on that.
Raiders
Jacksonville, right?
Raiders, Saints.
That's not bad.
And then Lions, Niners, Cleveland, Miami. So
I'm going Cleveland.
Yeah, I kind of
better chance at
hate picking up on that Miami offense without Tua.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Cleveland as well. I know Raiders have a great matchup, man, but they don't have any. They don't have any talent on defense anymore.
No Max Crosby.
That's the problem I have with the Raiders and going with them is
Lions have nobody either. So yeah, Cleveland.
Let's go Cleveland here.
From Dion again, Jameson Williams, Thielen, McMillan, Abdullah need one. Adam Thielen for me.
I was going to say Thielen or Abdullah just because Abdullah should see 8 targets.
We're not helping Dion at all, man.
I said Thielen, but Abdullah's not bad.
Okay. All right. Then we got Buffalo's defense, Jaguars defense, Tampa Bay's defense. Who's Tampa Bay, guys? Who do they got?
Carolina.
No.
Suddenly playing better, Carolina.
I know.
Buffalo. Yeah, I'm going Buffalo.
The Jets, their offense is better. Yeah, I'm not doing the Jaguars either. I think Buffalo's fine. I think that's
kind of lean Tampa Bay and a must-win for them.
I don't hate that either.
Yeah,
Dion. Go to the coin.
My gut call says Tampa Bay. My brain says Buffalo.
Right on. All right, we'll move on to Tony's here. Need an RB2, wide receiver 2, and flex. So let's start with the running backs. It's Jerome Ford or Isaiah Guerrero at his RB2 spot.
Ford.
Guerrero should be good to go.
Is he? Is he fully healthy?
Yeah, there was reports that he is likely to play. It's tough matchup though against the Lions, man. Even though they're all banged up on defense, it's tough to run against them.
Yeah, I'm good with locking in Ford here.
I am as well. Look at the wide receiver too. We got Jalen McMillan, Adam Thielen, Darnell Mooney thrown in there. I've been riding Thielen here, so I'm going to keep doing that.
Good with that.
And then do we do McMillan, Guerrero, or Mooney in the flex, guys? That's what it leaves. And I think the answer for me is McMillan over those other two.
Sure. Yeah.
Yep.
You ride that.
That's the right answer.
Right. I like that. We locked that in for you. One from Taylor. Good to see you this morning, man. We got start 2 full PPR. Brian Robinson, Tyrone Tracy, Isaiah Guerrero, Devonta Smith with Kenny Pickett at quarterback.
What did Smith do last week? Do you know off the top of your head?
6 to 8 targets, I believe.
Yeah, I think he was fine.
6 for 51. Okay.
Yeah, and he dropped a crucial play in that game too. That could
Robinson, Devonta Smith, easy for me.
I think
Devonta
Smith
answer
too. Slightly over Tracy.
I kind of lean. It's between Tracy and B-Rob for the second one for me. I'll go B-Rob. B-Rob D. Smith, yeah.
All right. We got Darnold or Goff?
Good one. Let's go Darnold here.
Yeah, I'm going Darnold.
It's a good one, though.
Yeah, I'm going to go Darnold as well. Alan and I talked about it this morning. What do you guys think about somebody leaking out a little bit of to the Athletics saying now that Minnesota is open to keeping Sam Darnold? Do you think that's just a little bit of somebody leaking something?
I don't know how you are not. Yeah.
I would hope they would.
You guys do think it's real. You don't think it's just a vote of confidence from Minnesota. Like, hey, man, keep playing.
There's no way they can go to JJ McCarthy next year after what Darnold did this year. At least give Darnold another year.
I said, if I can, I'm going to franchise tag Darnold and let him play one more year. And then like that way, JJ has the year to kind of get healthy. And best case, by week 7 or 8, it's just undeniable in practice that JJ is the guy and you make the swap at that point.
I think that you're the first person to mention the franchise tag JJ. And I think that might be the way to go, to be honest with you. But I don't think signing him to a long-term extension is in the works. Like you
can't let him go though. And then go into next year with a banged up McCarthy after 2 surgeries or some shit. No way. You can't. So I believe Darnold for sure.
If you franchise him, I think that's fine. But like I said, I can't sign him to a long-term extension because that's going to destroy your salary cap.
2-year maybe. That's the most you can go if you want to do that. But no, I do franchise tag.
Darnold to get 40 million a year.
I was just going to say, it looks like it's 40 mil roughly for the tags. I mean, it's not like that's an insult to Darnold. Like, that's come back for a year and here's $40 million. Like, I guess I can understand if you want to get that security locked in, but it's not like that's an insult. I don't feel like after every year before this was a big question mark on Darnold. So I can understand him wanting to cash in, but I think that makes a lot of sense just to tag him and bring him back a year.
Wow, guys, we just got some wild news here at the 10:30 mark. Tyler Boyd will play. That's not the wild news. Garrett Wilson could request trade if Aaron Rodgers is the Jets quarterback in 2025.
Ooh.
How about him taking a shot at Aaron Rodgers in the media, man? Ooh.
Just last year, Garrett Wilson's crying that because Aaron Rodgers got hurt and that's his quarterback and all that stuff. Year later, now he's like, I'm done with this dude. So interesting.
I mean, to be fair, like the whole thing was like Aaron Rodgers is like, oh, this young kid, we're gonna build him up. He's so good, and then like as soon as he's healthy, he's like, hey, get my boy Devontae.
Yeah, I want Devontae. Please give me Devontae. Garrett's like, what the fuck, man.
Yeah, seriously.
That is some crazy stuff that just dropped. And then, there's one more even from Rap Sheet. Aaron Rodgers and Kirk Cousins could be potential quarterback options for the Browns in the offseason.
For the Browns? How?
I didn't expect that one either.
I've been seeing something about Kirk Cousins for a while.
That seems like the Browns being optimistic and trying to leak some news. That doesn't make sense.
There's no way in hell Aaron Rodgers is playing football in Cleveland. I'll go ahead and shut that shit down right now.
Yeah.
Zero chance that's going to happen. But let's answer the last half of Dion's questions here. We got BTJ, Reed, Samuel, who was actually, it could be Debo, I guess.
That's probably Debo.
Curtis Samuel just was inactive. Thielen, McMillan need one flex. I think it's Thomas Jr., right?
Yep. Thielen's close, but I'm going BTJ.
One from Craig. It's a kicker question. McLaughlin or Ricard. It's Minnesota kicker, right?
Yes.
Ricard. Yeah, Will Ricard. Yeah. In the dome.
Hawk, we already did that one.
Yep. Give me Ricard. Jonnu Smith or Laporta?
We'll go Laporta here.
Yep, Laporta. And Aubrey. Yeah. Again, Aubrey every time.
And I guess
Miami. Fuck.
Yeah.
Miami, you can't play San Fran against Detroit. No way.
Yeah, they're going to go for negatives.
I can't do that either. Yeah.
They'll go negative.
King of the North in the chat.
I still believe.
Me too. We got Tyreek Hill or Jacoby Myers here, guys. Jacoby Myers for me.
Well,
I'm going to go Jacoby. I can't believe I'm going to say that, but yeah.
No, I can't bench Tyreek in a championship. I can't do it. It's like one of those, if he catches one, he could go for like 60 yards.
Full PPR too.
I get why you go Jacoby. In theory, he's the safer play. In reality, he's probably the safer play, but I'm still going Tyreek.
Oh no, guys, I lost my spot in these questions here.
Still
I
on
actually
totally
know.
random. Sammy Sosa's coming back to the Cubs for some Chicago
play?
conference. No, for some Chicago conference. So it's cool that they're bringing him back.
That's good. I do like that they're bringing back Sammy. He just needed to issue the apologize, or he just needed to apologize
For what?
Cheating.
Oh man,
Yeah.
no. I think McGuire saved baseball in the 90s. They don't
Yeah,
need to-
screw that.
Agreed. The only issue with Sammy, and we got to make this quick to move on because we got a boatload of questions. The only issue with Sammy is not only did he take steroids, he also cheated with the cork bat.
I guess he did have the bat
So
thing
that-
too. All right,
yeah.
fair.
That's the worst part. Even though
All right.
Sosa has a special place in my heart, I think he does for Ike as well as Cubs fans. Because
This is baseball fans of our age.
yep.
Yeah.
For sure. You're right. That is kind of right in our wheelhouse, man, for
Mhm.
sure. We got pick 2 PPR, Tyro Tracy, Tajay Spears, Devon Achan. I think Tracy's the odd man out here.
That's a tough
I'm going
one.
last two, Spears and Achan.
Yeah. And I don't love
Hope for
Achan,
the best.
to be honest with you. I don't like it at all.
I'm gonna go Tracy and Achan actually. I liked what Tracy did last week. I mean, we've seen the floor there. He's got the nice PPR floor there. Yeah, I'm gonna go Tracy and Achan. I'm gonna try and find a way to get Spears in my lineup too, though.
Then we got halfway PPR flex pick 2, JT, Terry McLaurin, Bucky Irving.
JT and Bucky.
Yep.
You gotta remember it's gonna be raining. I know we picked McLaurin and a few other ones, but it's safer to have those two running backs over McLaurin in the rain.
I mean,
That's
and
cool. I'm all right with that,
Bucky
guys.
against
I'm all right.
Carolina, who just everybody's shredding them on the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I'm all right with that. I just feel like I'm always so down on Terry, man, and he always just kicks me in the nuts because
Been
he
there.
finds a way to score a touchdown. From Matt here, thanks in advance. You're welcome. Colts or Dolphins, D? Colts get the Giants. That's where I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll go Colts here.
And then
And we got
Hig or Hawkinson
Higger Hawk.
over Chig, we said.
And I go
then
Hawk and
Laporta.
Laporta.
Did you call him Hig, Ike?
I did. I
like it.
combined them both.
Yeah, Hawkinson for me there, and then Laporta over John is slightly for me. From Luke, Brees,
Ooh,
Spears,
that's
or
a good one.
Achan and PPR. Brees has been fine the last 2 weeks. I want to say 13 fantasy points in each game, right? Do we go Tajay over him here? Or do
I
we go
do.
Achan over him?
I would.
Tajay over
I
him?
would go Tajay over him. Tajay seems to get more work in the red zone as of right now for some reason.
I can't.
What do you
say
got,
this.
Jay? You can't sit Brees. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go Spears over Brees slightly. It's close. Brandon likes seeing you here, Ike. And we got Penix or Flacco. Did we answer this one already? I think I went Penix.
I do.
I
too.
think I said Flacco, but I'm fine with Penix too.
From Reese, Thielen or McMillan? I
We'll
went
go
Thielen
Thielen
as
here.
well there. Yeah. Okay. Clean sweep. Chigger Hawk. We've answered that a few times. We go Hawkinson.
Yeah, a
Flex
lot of
BTJ.
questions this year.
yeah,
This week.
yeah.
That's interesting.
BTJ in the rain or Bucky Irvin against Carolina.
I'm okay
Is
going
this
Bucky.
where? Yeah, I was gonna say this is where we sit BTJ here.
Yeah, I'm going
I'm
Bucky.
going Bucky
Yeah.
against Carolina. Yeah, the
Good.
matchup's too good to pass up there. I'm with you. Pick 2 in standard league here, guys. We got Drake London, Calvin Ridley, Debo Samuel, Adam Thielen, Jalen McMillan.
So you're basically touchdown hunting for standard, right? Like more than anything for a series.
Mhm.
I kind of want Debo a little bit against the Lions.
I still lean London. And I think London and Debo is where I would go.
I like Thielen too because he can score. I'm going
Yeah.
London and Debo.
I'm gonna go London Thielen there. I go a little different, but Debo did show last week. He's still got a little bit in there for the rest of the season, hopefully. Question of the day is Achan. Is he reliable? No, he's not reliable, man. But
Yeah.
unless you have great options, he's probably still in your lineup.
Yeah, he should still be a top 15, 20 running back.
Could be, yeah.
I'm with you. Joanne Jennings or Brees Hall in the flex. I'm gonna go Brees.
Brees.
Mm-hmm.
Josh Downs, Keon Coleman, Ray
Oh, no.
McLeod, full point PPR, first year in a 5-year dynasty. Oh, I like it. Nice,
Okay.
man.
2-week Super Bowl up 100. Okay.
Safest one, go Josh Downs then.
Yeah, I think Josh Downs the best floor there out of those
I
guys
think
for sure.
whether you were chasing floor or upside, I think I'm going Josh Downs here.
Yep.
And we got one from Jason. Garrett Wilson or Garendo in Flex Standard League. Does Aaron Rodgers just not even look at Garrett Wilson now today?
No, I'm
not
still
even
going
throw
Garrett.
to his side of it. Does
I'm
he not
still
even
gonna go
throw
Garrett.
to his side of the field now with that?
But it's standard, so you gotta hope for a touchdown. I'm gonna go
reluctantly Garrett Wilson.
I think that's
I guess.
Yeah.
Tyler said he needs to win or join one more league to help his chances of winning.
Gotta join one more to help. That's
the
reason.
I always tell my buddies when they're out, I'm like, that just means you didn't have enough teams to start. Like,
gotta
game.
get a couple more. Gotta get a couple more going. We got Chig or Janu here. I think I went Chig earlier. You two went Janu. Okay. JJ, you went Janu, right?
I did, yeah.
Okay, and then from Billy, pick 2 players: Ridley, Downs, Rashad White, Tyrone Tracy, 1 point PPR.
Downs, Tracy.
Yep. With Bucky Irving back, White was non-existent except for in the passing game. So
I'm gonna go Downs and Ridley.
Yeah, Ridley's been on a heater, so I can get that.
He'll be fine. Yep.
Downs.
Yep. Jaden Reed or Downs flex.
I'll go Downs here. Yeah.
Yep. Also good with that. Fly Eagles fly. Either you lost a bet or had to win. I like it. From Dylan here. Sick name, man. Championship baby. Yes, sir. Full point PPR. Different league. 1 flex. Alexander Madison. Amir Abdullah. Abdullah.
Yeah.
Yep. And then pick 1. Miami defense or Philly DST.
Philly.
Yeah.
Philly, no matter who it is, has still played really good defense.
That's fair. Yeah.
It's the Cowboys. I'm going to go Philly as well there. Yeah. And then Tampa Bay or Buffalo. I think I went Buffalo earlier.
I went Tampa Bay on this one.
Yeah. Buffalo for me because Carolina is figuring it out.
I think my exact word or my gut says Tampa Bay, but my brain says Buffalo. So Tampa Bay.
I kind of want to change my answer and kind of side with JJ with Tampa Bay, if I'm being honest with you, because Chuba was a big part of that offense in Carolina, and with him,
Tampa Bay just doesn't have anything
good point, yeah.
to like. They're not really sacking the quarterback. They're not doing much turnovers.
I know. That's a tough one.
So you to score points, you would need Carolina to not score very much, but it's possible.
Yeah. We got Rico Dowdle or Chig full point PPR. I'm gonna go Rico here still.
Yeah,
Rico.
He's back. Kincaid or Ferguson? We answered Ferguson.
Here.
Yep. From Nolan here, start 1 PPR. H.N. AJ Brown, Tajay Spears. Ouch.
Damn.
AJ.
AJ.
And then Spears.
Yeah, I'm all right with that, man. But I really want to say Spears. I ain't gonna lie. I've never felt so sure about something all year than Spears.
That's not good.
His way in the end zone. Yeah, you ain't kidding. Standard scoring. Need to overcome a 20-point deficit. Chig, Kraft, Fergie at tight end, guys.
I mean, if you're chasing an upside, then I think I go Kraft here. Like we've seen the big games out of him.
Touchdowns. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, do you go safe at tight end and then go big at wide receiver for McMillan? That's probably what I'd do. McMillan over Garrett and then probably Ferguson at tight end. Get safe 10 points and then McMillan can drop that 20 if he scores a touchdown.
That's fine. In an unhelpful turn, I'm going to go Kraft and Wilson here.
Yeah. What's up, Patrick? Good to see you, man. No Chuba today in the flex. Flex 1, Blackshear Chig, Dontavian Wicks, or Brandon Cooks. Man. Did we get word if Christian Watson was out yet?
I don't think that matters with Wicks.
I think Brandon Wicks. I think I'll go.
I'm going to go Chig just because I think he'll see the most targets out of all those guys.
That might be the best way to go, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I don't love any of these options here. I'll go Cooks, but I'm okay with Chig as well.
Yeah, Cooks is not bad either. So
I'm gonna lean Chig, I think. From Rocket, Joe Flacco, Mason Rudolph. What's the weather like in Jacksonville, guys?
Not good.
Rainy everywhere. I'll go.
I'm gonna go Flacco just because I don't know.
I guess.
Because
and at least
he's better.
Yeah, 5 out of 10 possible thunderstorms in Jacksonville. That's not good.
Yeah, not great.
Okay, give me Flacco, I guess. Yeah, it's Flacco.
That one's not fun.
From Jeremy here, pick 2: Thielen, Josh Downs, Jennings, Brian Robinson.
Thielen, B-Rob.
I go Downs and B-Rob.
Yeah, I'm all right with either of those. I'm gonna go Brian Robinson and Thielen for me, though. Devon Achane, Drake London, Jameson Williams for a final flex spot against the higher scorer.
JMO, then, if you're chasing a ceiling.
Yeah, I was gonna say JMO.
Yeah,
he can give you a 30 burger for no apparent reason.
Taylor's back here letting us know. Just an isolated thunderstorm with the Jags, but it's gonna be dry most of it.
Oh, okay, good to know. Fire up BTJ then.
Hell yeah.
In the championship, I'm concerned about starting Devontae Adams because he's playing injured. Sounds silly, but should I start Calvin Ridley over him? I don't think that's a bad option there.
I was reading that they're close to, I think, like 500 touchdowns or 50 touchdowns or something between Adams and Rodgers, like some milestone. So I think
he's gonna play, and I'm gonna go Adams.
Yeah,
I'm also good with that. Yeah, I'm gonna go Adams as well. And then we got Jalen McMillan or Jerome Ford at the flex.
I like Ford a lot this week, but if you want a higher score total, I'd probably do McMillan. I think he can boom more than Ford.
I'll go Ford here. Yeah, I'll go Ford.
Okay. Next one, Jalen McMillan, Tyrod Tracy, Tajay Spears, halfway PPR pick 2. Spears and McMillan for me.
Agreed.
Tracy and Spears for me.
I like it. For Chris, pick 1: Jameson Williams, Devonta Smith, Josh Downs. Also has Amon-Ra St. Brown in the lineup.
I'll go Devonta.
Yep, I'm also good with that, even with Pickett throwing the football. We got Eddie. Good to see you, my friend. Jordan Love or Sammy D.
Maybe also
go Darnold there. Yep.
Yeah, Darnold.
We have the most kicker questions of all time this week, guys. This is like number 5 or 6. Brandon McManus kicking in the dome inside for the Packers. There we got Jake Elliott. I'm going to go McManus. Elliott actually hasn't been very good as of late. And hasn't been able to hit from deep either. So, yeah, I'm going to actually go McManus inside.
I'm good with that.
From Niall here. What did I just say? From Niall.
I have no idea what you just said.
Oh, that was awesome. Choose one running back, a wide receiver, and a flex. Breece Hall, Tajay Spears, Tyrod Tracy, Isaac Guerrero. We'll start with the running back, guys. Spears over Bryce for me this week.
I go Breece still.
Well, I'm playing Breece and Spears because there's a flex too, so those two are in no matter what.
And I got Breece, and I'll flex Tracy and start Thielen.
I'm good. Yeah, Thielen. I'm gonna go Thielen over Debo.
Yeah. It kind of
Thielen,
yeah.
Thielen, Breece, and Spears for me. I think that's where I'm gonna go.
And I got Thielen, Breece, Tracy.
What I'm missing something here, guys. What does that say? Tennessee, San Francisco, Dallas, Raiders defense. Okay, I got it. I figured it out.
Let's go with. I don't hate the Dallas defense this week. Actually,
I don't. Against
at least you can hope for some sacks there or something.
Kind of juicy too, though.
Tennessee, maybe.
Yeah, you got a lot of good options here.
But they kind of quit, I think. So I don't think I could go Tennessee. To be honest with you,
I think I go Raiders or Cowboys here.
I'm gonna go Dallas.
I'm gonna go Dallas.
They at least can get a sack or two or something.
Yeah.
Let's just hope Saquon doesn't go for 200 plus and a couple touchdowns.
Which is a very big possibility.
Destroys it. Yeah, it is. For Michael here, I need 2 of 3 from a championship game. Congrats on making the championship, man.
Sure.
Love it. Is that Macho Man in the avatar too there, Ike?
It is.
I like that. Let's go. Garrett Wilson, Malik Neighbors, and Jordan Addison. 2 of 3.
I'm gonna bench Garrett Wilson of this group.
I'm doing the last 2, Malik and Jordan. Malik Neighbors is just target fiend right now. So
King. Yep. Who gets more volume than
not Neighbors or no one but Neighbors? No.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, I'm gonna go Addison and Malik Neighbors too.
Yep.
Especially with that news about Garrett Wilson, man.
I haven't got to read
Aaron
that
Rodgers.
yet, but that's a weird one.
Yeah, for sure. Deanne says A-Rod is washed. I don't know about
washed.
He's lost a step. Like I definitely take him over Kirk Cousins.
I mean, dude still has like 20 some odd touchdowns, 8 interceptions. So it's not like he's brutal, but it's not great. It's just because he's in the Jets, man. You don't.
Your question, Aaron Rodgers earlier is one of the worst players I'm starting this week in a championship. Unfortunately, going down.
Just going to the Jets, man. It's where you die. Just don't go there.
You ain't kidding there, man. The same with the Bears, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
Brace Hall, Jawan Jennings.
Brees.
Yeah. Brees for me, that was PPR. Who's starting at quarterback for Miami today?
Probably.
Yeah, I think it's Tyler Huntley.
Hell yeah. He has a playoff start under his belt.
Oh man. I was gonna throw my brother under the bus there for a second, Ike, from what he said about Tyler Huntley a few years ago on the bar, but I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna say it on stream. We got one more for you. Pick one: Brian Robinson, Devon Achane, Spears, PPR. Thanks. Do we go Achane over B-Rob?
I'm going Achane and Spears. I trust Achane more.
I don't
even
know.
Though it's bad.
I don't know between the two, to be honest with you.
I think
Spears I'm locking in.
I don't know. I think I'm locking in B-Rob and Achane.
Okay. Man, what do I want to do here? Robinson or Achane?
I don't know if I've ever been the lowest on Spears in a room before. This is weird.
Yeah, this is wild. Me and Dylan are like Spears to the moon. And
this is weird. Yeah. I have like Spears on every dynasty team, but yeah, I don't know. It feels like fool's gold this week. It feels like everything is just lined up too good.
Yeah,
that's
fair. But I mean, it probably isn't. This should be what he's been doing. This is what he should have been doing the whole time, basically.
Give me Spears and Robinson, I guess. Tyreek Hill, Jacoby Myers, full point PPR.
I said Jacoby Myers.
I said Tyreek on this one still. I can't bench him.
Yep. And we got 8 minutes left, everybody. So go ahead, get your questions in. We still got a few here left to go. Who should have started in the flex? Devontae Adams, Adam Thielen, Malik Neighbors, Tyreek Hill, Isaac Guerrero.
I go Adams here.
Just one out of those guys, huh?
Adams first, Neighbors second for me.
Yep.
And Cowboys on the defense.
Yep.
I'm gonna go Neighbors over Adams, and I'm gonna go with the Cowboys as well. Achane or Spears? Spears for me.
Spears.
I'm still going Achane on that one, but I can understand if you want to go Spears.
We're trying to twist your arm, JJ. Try.
Yeah, I know.
Jaden Reed, Jalen McMillan. You're chasing the touchdowns here.
I'll go Jaden Reed here.
You're going.
Standard scoring. Yeah, standard scoring. Yeah, I'll go Jaden Reed. I guess
McMillan for me.
Yeah, I think McMillan's the side I'm gonna.
That makes me sad. Jaden Reed started so good this year.
I know, man. I don't get it. It's unfortunately, I'm not gonna say it. I'm gonna say it. I said I was gonna say Jordan Love has regressed, but now he's gonna just go off here.
Yeah,
I mean he has, but
numbers have kind of taken a step back from what I thought. Yeah.
1 point PPR, pick 2, BTJ, Neighbors, Breece Hall, Tajay Spears.
Man, that's tough. PPR, give me the 2 receivers.
I'm going BTJ and Neighbors.
Yep.
BTJ, yeah, I'm gonna leave Spears on the bench in that case. I think. Stream Flacco in an emergency. Tough to say, Matt, without your other without knowing the other options.
I guess.
Yeah, like would you guys rather stream Flacco over Aaron Rodgers?
No.
No, I'd rather play Rodgers. There.
Okay. All right. Hopefully that helped you, Matt. Colts defense against the Giants or Eagles defense against the Cowboys?
I'm going Eagles.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Colts.
I think I lean Colts on this one.
Yeah.
No, it's the Eagles still. It's definitely the Eagles. Yeah, never mind. I had to think about that one for a second.
Can't pick it.
There's a lot of NFC East teams in that equation. I had to decide who I hate least.
Standard league need a tight end, John or Laporta. I want Laporta, right?
Yeah.
Need a flex. Brian Thomas Jr. or Spears? Yeah.
I'll go BTJ, but I can. That's like a true 50-50.
I'm gonna go Spears, man, and I'm changing my answer for this guy too. I'm gonna go Spears over BTJ. Neighbors and Spears. It's a rainy championship weekend and injury filled beyond, that's for sure. From Gene here, Jalen McMillan, Adam Thielen, Khalil Shakur, full point PPR.
Thielen.
Yeah, I'm also hooked on a Thielen there. Going for 6 championships out of 8. Love that, Dion. That's good. And some good money you're making there. I like it. Halfway PPR, pick 3. Jacoby Myers, Jalen McMillan, Khalil Shakur, Josh Downs.
I'll go Downs.
Downs, Myers, Shakir.
Oh, pick 3.
Yeah, who's the odd man out here?
I will bench McMillan of this group.
Yes.
I don't hate that either. All right. I'm with you. One more from Gene here. We got Brian Robinson Jr. or Tyrod Tracy, full point PPR.
B-Rob slightly.
B-Rob.
Yep. And then last one we got here from Brandon. Tyreek Hill or Josh Downs.
Championship week. I can't sit Tyreek.
I'm going Tyreek over Downs.
I'm going to go Tyreek over Downs slightly as well, too. But, guys, we made it through the questions.
We did it.
That was a lot. What a fun year this has been, though. Especially on the Sunday show. I know it. It's definitely been a grind here. I'm trying to pull up some other quotes.
What do you guys think about this? So, like, for me, I don't know that I have loved having 5 days of football on championship week. I feel like it's kind of taken away from like the championship Sunday feeling a little bit for fantasy. Like,
and the fact that there's only 2 afternoon games is just brutal that they pulled that out. So.
Like it was like in theory, I was excited about it, but like actually being in it, it's like, okay, we had 2 on Wednesday, 1 on Thursday, 3 on Saturday. It's just like, man, it feels like it's kind of taken away from like I don't know, championship week feeling, spread it out too much a little bit.
Well, unfortunately, it's made the Sunday slate suck. Like Alan and I talked about it from a betting perspective, and it's like, dude, there's nothing going on. Like the best game of the week or the best game today is Packers Vikings. Which
there's a reason why there's only 2 afternoon games. Then they want everybody on that game.
Yeah. I mean, they did schedule Cowboys Eagles. I think shout out to you, JJ, but I think everybody would have thought that was going to be a good one too there. But yeah, it's not good. Like even the primetime.
Same with Lions 49ers, people thought were going to be really good. It still will be, but
Yep, for sure. And like, Sunday nights, Falcons Commanders, don't really love that either. It's definitely not good. We do got a couple more questions.
The 2 rookie quarterbacks, at least that one will be a fun one.
Yeah. No, that's fair. That is fair. One from Michael. We got Thielen, Downs, or Jennings full point PPR. Thielen for me.
And I'll still go Downs on that one.
Yep. Okay, and then one more. Start 2. Michael Pittman, Tyreek Hill, Tyrone Tracy, or Jerome Ford.
I'm never starting Pittman again in my life. So I'm going Hill and Ford.
I'll go Hill and Tracy here.
Yeah, I'm going to side with JJ. I think it go Hill and Tracy myself. Dion said it just added to our conversation. The problem, I think, the Chiefs played 3 games in 10 days. Yeah,
you aren't the only one, though. I'm pretty sure the Ravens played that and the Texans.
The good news is next year Christmas is on a Thursday. So if they do try to sneak some extra games there, at least it's on a Thursday naturally, so we won't have like a random Wednesday slate of games, hopefully. And the next year they're probably like Christmas Eve football. Here's 2 games on this.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good point. That makes me wonder what they're going to do now. So
just do 3 on Christmas Day. I would do.
I think it's going to be like
on Thursday.
It's a 3.
So Amazon will get their normal.
We'll get their late night one.
And then
And then during the
Netflix
day is
will
the
have a
two
couple.
Netflix.
Yeah, that's fair.
See this last comment here.
Yes, he is.
And yeah. I don't have much to add there. I just I keep thinking about that guy in the Dells.
Yeah, I know. Before football even started, just screaming that Michael Pittman's the guy who gets more volume than Pittman, and it was just wild.
We're sitting in a bar at a bachelor party, JJ, right? And this dude walks in with a Michael Pittman Jr. jersey on, and you don't see those very often, especially in Wisconsin. And we say something to him, and he just turns and looks at us. He goes, "Who gets more volume than Michael Pittman?"
We were just dumbfounded. We were like, "What?"
You're like a good list of guys, but
yeah, and that we're all looking up. We're like, oh,
I can name a few, but damn, you put me on the spot, bro.
Yeah, no, that it was good, man. That's just one of those things where I'm always going to remember that. But we got one more here. Finish it up, and then we'll hand it over here to Chris. Start Juwan Jennings in PPR or Jalen McMillan this week?
I'll go Juwan here. He's at least getting a lot of targets.
Yep.
So I'm going to lean McMillan there out of those two.
He's getting a lot of touchdowns, so that's understandable.
But guys,
targets are more sustainable.
We did it. Ike, let's start with you. Let everyone know where they can find you before we head out of here.
Every Monday, I'm pretty sure, or Tuesdays when it comes out. Weekend recap and the injury impact. I'll be doing it next year too, so
love it.
Stay tuned.
All right, JJ, what do you got, my friend?
Follow me here on Twitter at DynoNFL. Dylan, it's been a blast these last 2 years doing the Sunday Start shows, man. Hopefully we helped the people win some championships along the way.
We did.
Yeah, just follow me on Twitter here and like and subscribe and all that good stuff.
Right. Yeah, guys, it's truly been a blast here. It sucks Mike wasn't able to finish it out with us this year, but it kind of is what it is. And I love you guys. Thank you for doing this. And I'll talk to you guys soon. See you guys. All right. And that leaves us here. We got our DFS guys coming in, Mr. Chris Robbin, Detroit Beastie. And then we got Keith Flemming. Fellas, how you doing? How was your Christmas?
I mean, it was good. I'm dragging ass. I'm not going to lie.
I hear that, man. It's definitely been a long week. Chris, how about yourself?
Yeah, everything was fantastic. I might have told the story, but on Christmas Eve, my mom had a party. But I work with impaired adults, but there was one guy who was going to be alone, at the house. It's a roommate house. I couldn't let that fly. So I went over there till about 9:00 at night, watched some football.
Oh, man. Yeah, that's very cool. Good on you.
I couldn't have dinner with my friends and family knowing that he was alone at the house, just probably in bed, bummed out. So I went over there for a little while, and it was solid.
And I'm sure you made his holiday doing that, man. That's awesome. But I'll get out of your guys' hair. Take care. Have a good show. I'll talk to you guys later.
Thank you. Screw the Illini. That's what he fought. That's the shirt he had on, the Illinois. They're solid. I mean, it's just a Big Ten kind of rivalry. I respect that. Keith, what are we going to do and where are we going to go today? I know I caught the tail end of last broadcast, and it seems as though those guys are done, right? They're not going to be doing correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm going all the way through to the Super Bowl if you're with me when we're talking DFS and all that stuff. But I get it, right? This championship round, after that, what are you going to do with start? There is no start or sit stuff, but there's still dynasty stuff and IDP and all that. So what are we going to do today, though, Keith? That's the fun part here.
Man, it is a weird slate between, the 2 games on Christmas, Thursday, 3 Saturday, very condensed slate. A lot of games projected to have low scoring totals. You got games with bad weather. There's 2 games that we can control the environment indoors. I don't know if it's, the Raiders Saints is anything you want to load up too much on a lineup. The other one's very interesting to me, obviously, with the Vikings Packers. But I mean, I'm pretty condensed, to be honest. Like, I don't really want a lot of the Buffalo Jets game outside of the running backs and the QBs. They're talking about like 40-mile-an-hour winds. Doesn't sound like, that's going to be a passing free-for-all. And so I'm looking at these games in the South for pass catching or indoors. And then the guys up, north, like, again, if you want running backs, tight ends, that's fine. But I would be Yeah, I would be leery of, overloading in some of these bad weather games with, especially the passing game.
Yeah, I've always had a problem, like not separating, real life and the fantasy life, but I know that we're here to talk Sunday in the not single game slates, but everything Sunday. But I'd be remiss if we didn't, or me at least, mention last night's games. I mean, that Denver game, Cincinnati game was outstanding. Right, it was just down to the wire at the end. Bo Nix is legit, right? We just got to call it what that is. He's legit. But then it's not a recap show. We're not going around the horn, going back and forth about, our own opinions on everything. But last night's games were fantastic. And again, the Rams at Arizona, that came down to the wire with that late interception. And I will say this, I never looked at Kyler Murray as I've always been indifferent to him. He's not somebody I'm all in on a weekly basis in Dynasty or in DFS, but he's not someone I'm actively like fading and going from there. But what's Arizona going to do? I mean, the first overall pick, they've already signed him long term. He's hurt his knees, been in the league so long. I don't see him being, the world beater guy that's going to get them Arizona to the Super Bowl. And here we are again. I get stuck in that weird gray area of kind of recapping stuff because it's fun and you can get a quick opinion about it and what we're going to do today or in the future. So Keith, everything is wide open. Hopefully everybody had a fantastic Christmas Eve, however it is. And we're on the fast track to New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, which are always just absolutely littered with college football. I don't want to say littered. I mean, that's a shit term, but littered with college football. Maybe behind the scenes, we can get together and put something together for like a New Year's Day, kind of like a video, 15-20 minute thing where we talk about
that.
The Rose Bowl and the college football playoff prior to the championship. So steer the ship, Captain. What game do you want to go to? I mean, Vegas and New Orleans, you mentioned that one. I would think that Tennessee at Jacksonville's in Florida. It's nice and sunny. I don't know what the weather forecast is in southern or mid Florida, but that doesn't seem like a bad place to start. But it's all in your hands, Keith.
I think that's a beautiful place to start because it's definitely, to me, the most intriguing game on the slate. Whether you want to talk about BTJ and the fact that he's been targeted over 30 times in the last 2.5 games that he's played with Mac Jones, and Mac Jones is playing again. So I'm pretty sure volume wise, he's going to see just a crap ton of targets. And again, I have him in a lot of lineups, but it's the Tennessee side to me that's just, I'm worried. I'm setting myself up for a letdown, but Mason Rudolph, 5K. He scored 17 points or more in every one of his starts. Jags dead last in DVOA versus the pass. And there's so many ways you can go with him. You can go with Calvin Ridley, who's very reasonable. He's 55 or 5,600 on DK. He kills man defenses. Jaguars run a ton of man defense. He saw 12 targets last time these two teams played. That was, unfortunately, Will Levis, not Mason Rudolph. So that's part of why he only had 7 catches for like 50 yards. But the two guys I keep circling, especially for cash, are Tajay Spears with Tony Pollard out. We're finally going to get Spears, and it's a great matchup. So I have to have him in a good bit of lineups. But to me, for cash, the guy that is an automatic start, and I just like every lineup, Chigo Kunkwu. It's unbelievable what is going on with Mason Rudolph compared to others. I want to make sure I get this right because I did this for one of my articles this week, and it's just outrageous. So he's now played 5 games with Mason Rudolph, and 34 of his targets, or 54% of them on the season, came in those 5 games. 26 receptions. That's 55% of his receptions on the season. 55% of his receiving yards have came in the 5 games with Mason Rudolph, and 49% of his points on DK. He was targeted 21 times and caught 18 passes just the last 2 weeks. And Jacksonville, by the way, ranks dead last in DVOA versus the pass. And even more importantly, dead last DVOA versus tight ends. So I don't know how you can't start someone at 3,600 in cash. I don't care how much he's owned. I don't care what it is when you're getting that kind of volume and this kind of matchup at that price.
Yeah, Chig is fantastic. And to be clear, Tony Pollard has the flu and he didn't travel with the team. And it's like, just come out and say it. You know, all these, you know, the fantasy websites that write blurbs, or, you know, like let's say Sleeper or Fantrax, you know, they said a blurb that don't want to alarm anybody, but Tony Pollard didn't travel with the team. He's got the flu. Well, just come out. If you didn't travel with the team, you're probably more than likely 99.9% not going to play in the game. If a carload of my friends goes to the amusement park and I stay behind, guess what? I'm probably not going to the amusement park. It's just, you know, clear as day. And yeah, Chig, I have, in terms of projection wise, 6-7 targets, 4 to 5 receptions. I think we're looking at a floor of around 45 yards for him, and that, you know, it could go upwards of there, averaging around 9.3 yards a reception. So just do the math. If he catches 5 passes times 9, we'll just round it down. 5 times 9 is 45, and boom, there you have a floor. 2 touchdown receptions this year. I think it's is it a safe bet? I would add him in for like an anytime touchdown bet, and we can go from there. On the flip side, on Jacksonville side, yeah, BTJ is being, you know, not smothered. He's being just absolutely bombarded. I think that's a better term. Bombarded with targets. Tank Bigsby's in play, but so is ETN. When you look at ETN, it's on FanDuel at least. He's $6,000. Tank is 6'1". It's, you know, it's more than it's not more. Let's say it's less than a roll of the dice. I mean, why bother given everything else that we have in front of us today in terms of running backs? And we'll get to one, you know, little teaser here. Dallas at Philadelphia. I love this game from a, you know, sneakily go, you know, fading everybody up front in the starters for the secondary players. And I have a spiel there, as they say, but DVP across the board is fantastic for Tennessee. Come to find out, Tennessee, not that bad against defending opposing wide receivers. They're 3rd overall. And aside from BTJ, Parker Washington, I mentioned him last week, did next to nothing. Devin Duvernay and excuse me, Josh Reynolds. There's not much going on the Jacksonville side of things. And final score wise, they're both projected to score 19 points, which isn't real. Obviously, they're just numbers you can toss, you know, into the air here. But I think Tennessee's a good bet to hang 21 points. So 3 touchdowns. Where are they going to come from? Let's work our way back. Taj Spears, Calvin Ridley, and Chig. You know, those 3 guys are the 3 that I would want. So let's move forward. We'll go to not Louisville. I seen the LV, and I think, and there's no V in Louisville to begin with, but the Vegas Raiders are in New Orleans. Yeah. Have you ever been to Louisville? It's a fantastic city. Was on a layover there.
I haven't, man. I definitely check out Kentucky sometime though.
Was flying home from the Rose Bowl from Vegas to Chicago. We couldn't land at Chicago because there was this big snowstorm, right? And then fly from Chicago to Detroit 20 plus years ago. And they rerouted us to Louisville, and it was 60 degrees. So, you know, you're going from Vegas back home to Chicago or Detroit, and you're wearing a winter coat, and you get rerouted. I wound up staying there the whole week, and it was like, this is spring and it's summer, and it was the beginning of January. So I've always liked Louisville. Warm climate, I guess. Who the heck knows, in Kentucky. So the Vegas Raiders are in New Orleans. If I'm not mistaken, the Saints, they're hosting the Super Bowl this year. We'll see how that goes. And hit me with it. When you look at some of I ask you the question, then I answer it myself. I'm terrible when it comes to that kind of thing. But I know the big question I've seen so far is people have made graphics for it. Who are we going to start in the Raiders backfield? Is it going to be Alexander Mattinson or Amir Abdullah? They're only separated by $100 on FanDuel. Their projections, I have them separated by like 2.5 points. So it's kind of like, why not both? I mean, in some multi-enter, you know, the $1, 150 lineup max GPPs, I mean, why not start both? There's weirder things that have happened, and then, you know, run it back with Chig at the tight end. So we're going to get weird today. I know that much. But what are your thoughts here in this game?
I love Amir Abdullah, 5,100. It's pretty stark to see the difference in how he's used and how much he's involved with Sincere McCormick involved in this Raiders backfield and without. And we know McCormick's done for the year. And no surprise, once McCormick got hurt 2 weeks ago, he's came right back. His last 3, again, without McCormick, 17 receptions. So that's kind of the floor, 4.5, 5 receptions, which I love that for these guys, you know, like 5,200 or below. 138 receiving yards, 74 rushing yards, 3 scores. He's averaging almost 18 points per game in that span. What I really like is paying attention to the game last week because I had way too many Jaguars and Raiders in my DFS lineups. When the Raiders needed to close that game out, they went to Abdullah, like on the ground. So you're getting the pass catching upside, but also I think he's getting more and more of the carries. I do think that there's something to be said, especially for FanDuel and Madison, because he's going to get probably a majority of the red zone touches. And I do think the Raiders are going to be able to move the ball. This offense has been much better with Aiden O'Connell. And I look at Brock Bowers, and, he's 67 on DK. I'm like the biggest Bowers guy because I've been freaking talking him up, it seems like forever at this point. But I still think he's a value if you look at the wide receivers in this range, because he's seen 42 targets in his last 4 games with O'Connell. He's got 2 10-catch or more performances, and all 3 of Bowers' biggest games have came in his last 6. So the Raiders are, basically a little bit like what we're seeing with the Jags with BTJ. They're just like, screw it. We're just going to throw it to Brock as much as we can. He's by far our best player, and we'll just figure things out. And you know what? Like, their offenses have been better, just like with Jacksonville. Like, their offenses have been better. Imagine that. You just throw the ball to your best player, and good things happen. So I like both of those guys. On the Saints side, like MVS to me, very interesting. If you watched again, the Jags, the Saints have been, the Raiders have been known to give up big plays. BTJ last week again was wide open for one of those touchdowns. It was really baffling that BTJ is getting 40 targets over the last 3 games, and somehow he's 15 yards behind every other defender on the Raiders. And I immediately think of MVS. When I think of that, we know the Saints like to take deep shots. Can you trust Kendra Miller after last week? I can't.
No.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. So I don't know where else you go with Saints, right? Like, if it's not MVS, like the backfield is normally where I go. Yeah, and it's like I can't trust any of those guys.
But I guess in a way, if we're if we're going to get weird, why start your lineup build with Mattinson and Amir Abdullah. I have Mattinson about 10 or 15 more rushing yards than Abdullah, but I have Abdullah with 10 or 15 more receiving yards. So if you roster both of them, you have the Las Vegas Raiders backfield covered, if that's how odd you want to be. On the flip side, Jawan Johnson and Foster Moreau, boom, boom, right there. The Vegas Raiders 29th overall. And this is like the extreme of getting stupid. Now, you don't want to be stupid with your money, but in a way, in DFS formats, being stupid, can bear fruit. So those 4 players from this game, and they would all fit in the same lineup. Granted, you wouldn't have a flex spot left, but hey, screw it. And Spencer Rattler, nothing going on. Jamal Williams, the fall from grace from him has been nuts after leaving the Lions and 20 plus touchdowns. And I honestly don't think the New Orleans Saints know what they're doing in terms of using their personnel. And again, Alvin Kamara is the stud, but you can mix in some of these guys, especially Jamal Williams. He pounds the ball, and he never pitches a bitch, right? If he's not getting the football, he's not going to say, "Oh, I want the football," because he's a fan favorite. He's a good dude, but that doesn't win us any money in DFS formats. Quickly time check. It's around 17 minutes after 12 noon. So we got about 40 minutes or so before the 1 p.m. lock. Lions do not play today, so I can be at peace per usual. We'll wait for tomorrow and some sort of revenge game in San Francisco. Granted, the stakes were a lot higher last time they played in comparison to tomorrow, but hey, we take the storylines any way we can go. I'm going to not fast forward per se, not skipping over the Colts at the Giants, but I want to go to the Dallas Cowboys at the Philadelphia Eagles. And I was talking to a friend yesterday. I had come to find out, I went to church yesterday on a whim. I was running some errands in the church I go to. The mass started in 30 minutes. So I went alone. It was nice. It was peaceful. But I was answering a start-sit question, and someone said, well, what are we going to do with, let's say, Rico Dowdle or Saquon? Or I'm going against, that was the question. I'm going against Saquon Barkley and Jonathan Taylor. These are the 3 running backs. You got to sit one. And I said, well, if you're looking for, you're going to have to hit home runs. You're looking for upside. Don't need a safe play if you're going against those 2. Sent the message, closed my eyes for a second. And I said, you know what? Barkley, I like the idea of the Dallas Cowboys winning this one. So I'm going to take the Cowboys plus 7.5 points and take the Saquon Barkley under with his rushing yards, and then therefore toss in Kenny Gainwell as an anytime touchdown bet. And I'll tell you why. Because the Philadelphia Eagles Hurts is inactive again today, concussion, not anything serious long term. But again, the Philadelphia Eagles are already kind of playing it safe. They're going to start Kenny Pickett, right? The number 1 seed is all but a pipe dream. It's like the lowest of percentages, right? Because Philadelphia does not play the Lions. They do not play Minnesota, and Minnesota and the Lions control their own destiny in a way. So it's almost next to nothing that Philadelphia could get the number 1 seed, already locked in a playoff spot. Why bother? Why would you give Saquon Barkley the ball 25 plus times, and then you add in targets and receptions 30 plus times in a game where it's just like, you want to get in and out? The end result doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is let's get in and out safely without, some sort of injury or a silly ankle sprain that can linger into the playoffs, let's say. So Saquon Barkley under, I think it was last I looked yesterday, 111.5 yards. I'm going to take the under on that one in hopes that this is like Dallas's Super Bowl.
That was his over-under number? Good God.
37.5 points. It's just it's nuts. And again, Dallas can get to 500 here. 8-8. It's been a pretty crappy season for them, but in a way, this is like Michigan, Ohio State, Georgia. What's your biggest rival? Tennessee, the Vols, let's say, something like that, or Georgia Tech, same in-state kind of deal. Like this could be, as the kids say, this could be the Dallas Cowboys Super Bowl, and rightfully so. They get to 500. Everything's not as bad as it seems. And on the flip side, Nick Sirianni, the Philadelphia Eagles head coach, strikes me as he's like a fake tough guy. He's like Ryan Day at Ohio State. He'll always turn, and like he did earlier this season, turned and was talking shit to the Cleveland Browns fans, and they won on like a last second field goal or something like that. So to me, Sirianni, fake tough guy, he's going to play right into the Dallas Cowboys' hands, and they have nothing to lose. Yes, CeeDee Lamb is inactive, but I like Brandon Cooks and Turpin and Jalen Tolbert in that way. And Rico Dowdle has been solid. He can get it done if need be. Granted, Philadelphia second overall against opposing running backs. But again, if this is the Super Bowl, this is the NFC East rivalry games of all rivalry games, you can throw out all that nonsense, right? So to me, I like the idea of, from a betting perspective, taking Dallas. It was +7. Now you can get them +7.5. Under for Saquon Barkley, total rushing yards, not combined rushing yards. And then give me Kenneth Gainwell for an anytime touchdown bet. And Dallas, 23rd overall against opposing running backs. That's the way I'm going in this one. And in DFS formats, as I said, Cooks, Turpin, and Tolbert. Tolbert looks to be questionable, but that's all good. I have each guy, 4 to 5 targets. And Cooks, when active, he's always a sneaky bet for a touchdown. If you wanted to, put some hair on your chest, Dallas +7.5, Barkley under the 111 rushing yards, Kenneth Gainwell anytime touchdown, and then Brandon Cooks anytime touchdown. And we're rolling. Brandon Cooks and us are cooking for a cool parlay in this game where there's not a lot going on elsewhere in this one.
I completely agree. Cooks has now caught a touchdown in 4 of his last 6 starts with Cooper Rush. Those targets got to go somewhere. To your point of both Dowdle, Cooks, like Tolbert. I mean, Dallas has been throwing it about 40 times per game with Cooper Rush, and 30% of those targets have been going to CeeDee Lamb. And he's
been
playing.
Okay. Cooper Rush has been okay.
Cooper Rush is a really good backup QB.
There was a point in time, I think, when I single game slate just last week where, one of the statistics wasn't shocking, but I didn't really dig it up, but he's thrown for at least one. He was thrown for at least 1 touchdown in 4 straight games. And then the single game slate, he threw 2 more. So we're at a streak of 4 or 5 games in a row with at least 1 touchdown pass. So that's the fun part where you can, who's going to receive that 1 touchdown on a weekly basis for the Dallas Cowboys? This week, Brandon Cooks.
I love it. And again, any of these for cash, any of those Cowboys pass catchers, to me, are a good value because I'm looking for volume. And again, for a team throwing it 40 times a game and a guy that's getting 30% of those pass attempts, he's out, they're going to go somewhere else. So that's good. On the Philly side, I think people are sleeping. Again, if you want to play Barkley in cash, I'm okay with it because I tend to agree with you that he's going to go under. There's also, though, like the record. And if Dallas struggles early, we've seen Barkley, right? Where like if he gets going, Philly may want to feed those stats and give him a legit chance to break the all-time rushing record. So I could see it going either way. I like the wide receivers, though, a lot. I think people are sleeping on Devontae and A.J. Brown because they're looking at Pickett and they're going, that's a huge downgrade. And this is going to sound like a knock on Hurts. It's not. It's more about last week he threw it, I believe it was 24 times, and only once did he not throw it to Devontae Smith or A.J. Brown. So an already condensed passing offense seems to be even more condensed with Kenny Pickett. So if you're telling me I'm getting Devontae Smith at 5,800 and A.J. Brown right around 8K, knowing that like Brown got 15 targets last week, Devontae, 7, and that was a game again that Philly was up early and most of the game. So if, he's getting 15 targets and Smith's getting 8 in a game that they controlled throughout, what happens if this game's competitive? Or say Dallas gets up, to your point. I think both of those guys are really sneaky plays. The wild card for me are like these Cowboys tight ends, like Jake Ferguson, Schoonmaker. Like we've seen these, that's been one of the ways teams have been able to attack Philly this year is like through the tight end position. And then again, just missing CeeDee Lamb, is he more, likely to go to those guys, which I think is a chance. But the people I really like from this game, especially for cash and their price tag, are Devontae, Brandon Cooks. And then, like I said, if you want to roll Barkley, I can't argue against it. He's been too good. And if they're chasing the record, he could end up having another 30-point game, no problem.
Yeah, I always think it's weird. While my articles and the videos, why isn't Nico should be in? I can't believe he's not in jail. I'm going to say that every video. He should be in jail for the crimes he's committed.
He's committed plenty of crimes just
in
since
that household.
Last time. Oh yeah,
in that household. Yeah. So at worst case, he was arrested. He didn't go to jail. You put him on probation and he's continuously violating his probation, which would land you in jail or wearing a tether and having to do drugs every other day.
A shot collar for Christmas. That was one of his gifts that he probably is not going to enjoy.
Funny story real quick at 12:26, not filling time, but we have a condensed slate, less games than normal. In college, I had a radio show all 4 years in college. It was only once a week on Saturday, like not Saturday, late mornings, early afternoon. I was trying to come up with like fun games and angles to do. And one of them, my friend had 2 shot collars, and I put them on 2 of my friends, and I asked them trivia questions, and I shocked them if you got it wrong. But the winner, I gave them Detroit Pistons tickets because Oakland University is literally like a hop, skip, and a jump away, from the Palace of Auburn Hills at the time. So the shot had those 2 white, like 2 big metal things that clipped right into your throat hole or your neck here, and that was fun. But what I'm getting at in this game here is the fact, as you were saying, and one thing I do want to say, right, does it matter that Devonta Smith, he really screwed the pooch last week? I mean, that you could point to, that's what turned everything around. Right in his hands, bounced off. Washington gets the football, and they beat Philadelphia. So thank you to Washington. But to me, it's as I've said, Rico Dowdle, give me him. Cooks with an anytime touchdown bet. Kenneth Gainwell as well. And from the other receivers, yeah, A.J. Brown, it's not really a secret. He's 8-8 on FanDuel. Dallas is 25th overall against opposing wide receivers. And this over under just kind of not proving any point of mine, but you look at 2 teams that can hang 30 points quickly, and it's only 37.5 points. They have Dallas projected to score 15 points, while they have Philadelphia team implied point totals 22.5 here. I think if you wanted to, you could take the over as well. If we're going to throw out all these anytime touchdown bets and all that, why not toss that in with the Saquon under, which is almost, it's like against every fiber of my being. If I'm taking Saquon under and then we're going to take the games over, pretty silly, but that's the kind of mindset that you see when people, they win 10 grand on a $2 bet or something simple like that. Where are we going to go next? I have an idea, but I'll toss it to you. Nico, have anything to say?
Nico really likes this Colts Giants game because, he's a sucker for punishment.
Maybe that's why he keeps getting in trouble. He likes being spanked.
I think that's what it is. He's got a little,
Freak.
that's
Little
it. What
freak.
he's
Little
definitely got a little
freak-ass.
freak at him. This Colts like Giants game, just load up on Colts. I'm serious. Like, I know some people are leery with Richardson. I watched this Giants team play my Falcons last week, and again, the Falcons, the Penix, everything looked really, good for his first start. The defense has been playing better, but that's the worst offense I've seen this entire year. So, like, it's one of the few weeks. Spend up for the Colts D at 3,500. I never, ever, ever recommend that. But I want a defense playing this offense. The Giants have 36 points their last 3 games. For those not good at math, that's 12 points per. Drew Lock's turned it over 5 times. He's been sacked 9 times in that span. Falcons scored 25 points last week. And then for the Colts players, a lot of people are saying Jonathan Taylor is a smash play. He's pretty expensive, though. And you look, he's only eclipsed 20 points 3 times this entire season. Now, if you're talking about for MME, go for it. Like, seriously, go for it. Try to differentiate your lineup somewhere else. For cash, I kind of need, like, I would rather spend up and play Barkley than I would play Taylor because, again, he doesn't catch passes. And he hasn't been as good in games that Flacco started. Like, his best rushing games have all been when Richardson's back there with him, obviously taking a lot of the defense's attention. And the one thing the Giants have done, which has screwed me, as you've been listening to us for the last, 3 weeks, is Derrick Henry playing him 3 weeks ago. I'm like, no Dexter Lawrence. Oh, Derrick Henry season. He didn't really do anything. Alvin Kamara versus the Giants and no Dexter Lawrence. Oh, it's, nothing really. And even Bijan last week, he scored 2 touchdowns. But outside of that, he only had 90 rushing yards. Like, they've been good versus the run. Now, the pass, on the other hand, has been an issue. And with Flacco and my favorite play from this game, Josh Downs at 4,600, that's where I'm probably leaning because he scored 15 points or more in 2 of his last 4 with Richardson. But again, it looks like Flacco starting. And this season in the 4 games with Flacco, Downs 36 targets, so that's 9 per 29 receptions. That is, that's right at 7, and he's scoring 15 points per game. And the Giants allow almost 2 passing touchdowns per. I think that's where you got real value from this game on the Indy side. And then on the Giants side, they're going to have to throw it to somebody. I hate that Neighbors is playing. It's kind of a bummer. I was ready to go with Wandell and Darius Slate. And again, the Giants were down, and just chucking it a lot. But with Neighbors playing, I kind of look at Tyrone Tracy. We've seen him become more and more involved in the passing game. Ownership projection is practically nothing. And the Colts also give up a lot of big runs. So you have a guy that has an opportunity to bust, say, a 30, 40 rushing yard touchdown at any point, and he's starting to catch, 3 to 5 passes each week with Drew Lock. So it just raises his floor. So that's kind of where I'm at. But you don't want to watch any of this game because it's going to be really bad.
Were you able to catch the tail end of the last broadcast with Ike and them and the start sit stuff? And he said they were at the bar. JJ said they're at the bar and some guy with a Michael Pittman Jr. walks in and they're like, Michael Pittman Jr. and the guy goes, who gets more volume than Michael Pittman Jr.? And I'm thinking a few dozen players. We need to find that guy. We need to find that guy and get him on some fantasy 6-pack broadcast, even if it's for 5 minutes. Let me add him for 5 or 10 minutes, not to make fun of him or put him down, but to pick his brain because that's the kind of whacked out mindset, that could, help move the needle in DFS form if that's how he thinks of Michael Pittman. And it's so simple here in this one with Flacco and Josh Downs. To be fair with Jonathan Taylor, again, I hear what you say. We've lived it with, Derrick Henry and Alvin Kamara, but I do have Jonathan Taylor 23 to 24 carries, 110 yards, a touchdown on the ground. And he does it. Primarily doesn't catch passes much, but I have 2 to 3 receptions for another 20 yards. So we're looking around 130 all-purpose yards and a touchdown for Jonathan Taylor. And last week, didn't he scram for a 72-yard? Was it 72 or 82-yard touchdown? He just, took it to the house, and everybody's just kind of swept him under the rug. This happens a lot with running backs like his age. They were really high and mighty their first few years, really got us over the hump in seasonal and dynasty formats. We traded for him, then we traded away, get our first overall, first round picks, and then we go from there. And then it takes a game like last week where he hangs 100+ yards, has that long touchdown, and we're like, oh yeah, Jonathan Taylor is still kind of a stud. So I'm going to want in on that. And I wrote it here, question mark. And if anybody out there, I'll keep up on it. Who's going to have the better day today? Will it be Jonathan Taylor playing the Giants, or would it be Saquon Barkley playing Dallas? Again, everything in my mind tells me Jonathan Taylor, and I'm putting my money where my mouth is on a bet. And I'm not telling if you have both of those running backs, you're not sitting one for the other. Just a fun little something to keep up on if you're checking box scores or looking at updates as they come through. So Keith, as we get moving here, it's around 12:35. So got about 25 minutes. Just call it 20 minutes. The last 5 minutes are all, nonsense filler stuff, talking about food and what the heck we've done the last few weeks. Do we want to stop on Carolina at Tampa Bay briefly? It's in Tampa. Tampa's projected to win by like 10+ points. I think that's solid. But Carolina's shown some fight the last few weeks, but then they, not secretly, but out of nowhere, they put Hubbard on IR, which is fine. But now it looks like Raheem Blackshear has been added 1 million times, in sleeper leagues and such. But I mean, for Carolina, not much going on, right? Bryce Young has started strong or come back strong since getting the starting gig taken away, and then they gave it back to him, and he's been okay. I think there's a future here for Bryce Young and Carolina. It kind of along the same lines. No, it doesn't matter. I get off on tangents, but it's kind of the same deal as Kyler Murray, but Kyler Murray has, more, statistical information or, in his corner than Bryce Young has. I'm looking at them the same way on the scale, same height, same kind of deal. But to me, it's all about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but I'm just tired. I really am exhausted trying to figure out Bucky Irvin or Rashad White or Bucky Irvin. I've had that stance a few weeks in a row where I say, it's going to be Bucky Irvin and Rashad White will catch up. I'm just tired of it, exhausted for it. And when you look at today's slate, I can do without either one. I said, do we want to stop here? And I just crash landed into it. Anything here for you, Keith?
Oh yeah. I mean, why not both with White and Irving? This is one of the few times that you're not going to have to twist my arm to play both guys. Carolina is so bad versus the run that they're giving up 24 more rushing yards than any other team in the NFL, which that is significant. And I'm talking about just 2 running backs. We're not talking about others. And I had a little bit of concern early in the week because they were talking about this game could be a rain game. Now that I know it's not, fire it up. Like, these are 2 bad. Well, I shouldn't say Carolina's not bad. They're okay.
They're scrappy. Team. They're scrappy.
Tampa's defense
you like to see that.
Fucking awful. So like Thielen, Bryce, you could throw in more. Like, I love all these guys because again, I think without Hubbard, Carolina's going to be forced to sling it. Like, they're just flat out because what they've been doing. I mean, Hubbard had one of the biggest opportunity shares, usage shares, etc. of any running back in the league. No disrespect to Blackshear. They're not going to be able to replace that with him. So that's going to mean a lot more passes. So like Thielen's one of my favorite plays this week at 5,500, seeing now that it doesn't look like it's going to be raining during the game. But then again, on the Tampa side, it's Bucky. If you want to play Baker, I can't argue against that. But the 2 guys I'm looking at are Mike Evans. Tampa has proven and shown they are a player-friendly place over the years. Mike Evans needs, I believe it's 190 yards and a touchdown to continue his streak of 1,000 yards and 10 touchdown seasons. I got a feeling they're going to be looking his way a lot. I think Jalen McMillan is the best value, arguably, on DraftKings this week, especially for cash gains, because, again, I really do. I like Mike Evans a lot this week. But you're getting McMillan for 4,600. That's like $3,000 less. He's caught 4 more passes in 3 straight, seen 20 targets, scored 4 times. He's averaging almost 20 points per game. And the big thing for me is during this, the Bucs have been without K-Dot. And guess what? K-Dot's out again. He's still out. So His last 2 games without Otten, 13 targets, 10 receptions, 2 touchdowns. I think McMillan is a great play where you can get, this Bucs passing game versus the Panthers, but it's not going to cost you a huge part of your salary. And what I did is I have a lot of game stacks where I went Baker, Bucky, McMillan, Thielen, and I still have a lot of salary left over where if I want to play Barkley, if I want to play Taylor, if I want to play AJ Brown, you can. So seeing now that it doesn't look like it's going to just be a mud fest, which there was a possibility of, I think as late as yesterday, I love taking a bunch of pieces from this Carolina team. I think there will be a lot of points scored in this game.
Yeah, it looks, I believe, let me double check. The kickoff is at 1 p.m. and it looks like it's raining there now. I can't just walk outside. I'm not in Tampa and see if anyone's there. Is it raining there now? And at 1 p.m. at kickoff, around 35% rain, and at 2 p.m., 30% rain. And then 3, 4, 5, it clears up. But it's going to be in the mid 70s. So it's going to be, temperature air wise, it's going to be nice, and we'll go from there. And I don't know, for a second in the chat here, like we were getting spammed, but it was check out this weather thread. And it's like, how many broadcasts have we been on where someone says it's spammed like 17 times? Check out this link to get free NFL games, and it's just like blocks and blocks and blocks of paragraphs into someone spamming.
As long
through.
as they're not like a Persian king who got trapped and they need, they have the money, but they need me to wire it to them so they can get it.
But in Walmart gift cards, that seems to be the, currency across the board, $500 in Walmart currency or iTunes gift cards. Hey, what do I know? I'm not a Persian king. When we go down, or we go up the list, that's the 1 p.m. slate. There looks to be 6 games, 1 p.m. And then when we turn our attention to the 4 p.m. games, there's 2 of them. There's Miami at Cleveland, Green Bay at Minnesota, Minnesota. We can end on that one, although Sunday Night Football continues to be part of the FanDuel main slate. Which is nuts. And then Monday Night Football, if we have enough time, we got about 19 minutes left. But when we look at Miami and Cleveland, this one is interesting from a perspective, just a few drips and drabs of players. I know a lot of folks have been asking, Jerome Ford, or let's use Jerome Ford and Tyreek Hill, and we can move on. Those are the 2 pieces we'll take from that game, and then we'll move on. But Jerry Jeudy has been strong, right? But he was with Jameis, and now you have DTR, Dorian Thompson Robinson, as the Cleveland Browns, quarterback. But Miami, for their record or lack thereof,
I think it's don't throw to receivers is what I've seen from DTR, and that's what it stands for. He doesn't throw to wide receiver. He throws to tight ends and running back.
And Miami's first overall against opposing quarterbacks, which is nuts. As I said, you get Miami's not awful, but they're not good. They're kind of just, slogging away in mediocrity. And it's like they have a somewhat decent secondary, or maybe a cover linebacker or 2, because why else would they be first overall against opposing quarterbacks? So if it was just, air it out against Miami and there's nothing they can do about it, but they're first overall against quarterbacks, they're 5th overall against wide receivers, yet their record shows us that, well, what are they doing wrong then? Is it the offensive play calling? What is it? Because Miami, they have, looks to be a stout, collection of offensive skill positions. Devon Shane hasn't had that game where he finds the
1-4
edge.
and 2 his absence had a lot to do with it, right? Like they couldn't weather the storm with Skylar Thompson, who's starting today, and
that's why Huntley's in play as well. It looks to be in optimizers and such. Huntley's popping up before what's his face. I mean,
Skylar Thompson.
Yeah, could be a strange course of events, but Tyler Huntley, I mean, in certain spots when he was with Baltimore, but that's how many years ago was that?
It's been a minute.
Yeah. What do you like in this one then? I mean, Tyreek Hill's questionable. Jalen Waddle's questionable. I mean, Waddle could have been already labeled out. If who knows? I know David Njoku is out. So you're looking at like Jordan Atkins at tight end for Cleveland, or Jamari Thrash at wide receiver for Cleveland, which would be crazy with DTR. But I have, Jamari Thrash, a reception or 2. And will one of those catches be for a touchdown, or will they be for, 2 yards apiece, or behind the line of scrimmage for, finish with negative points or something crazy like that? What are you doing here, if at all?
I would recommend staying away overall, probably from this game. If you want to play the defenses now, I wouldn't hate either of these defenses. I think again, with 2 out, I could make a case for Janu Smith. He played 2 games with Thompson. If Thompson starts, he saw 10 targets, caught 8 passes, and we know he's on like the all-time heater. You would think that the tight ends are typically one of the first thing backup QBs look for. I do think there's something there with Jerome Ford, one way or the other. It's just since Chubb has gone out, he's been good. I mean, he's 18.4 points or more in both. And I think when Njoku ruled out, that's DTR's blanket. Like, that's who DTR targets like 38% of the time. So he's not going to be throwing to wide receivers again, because that's just not something he does. I think Ford would be the guy that ends up, right, getting those targets. So you're seeing a guy who in his first game with DTR, he's had 5 or more receptions and 5 or more targets in both of the starts with DTR this season. I think that's his floor with Njoku out, and it wouldn't surprise if it's closer to 7 to 10. So he's really intrigued, especially with his explosive plays. He has the ability to take any run. We know he's one of the more explosive backs in football. But overall, I just like, if it's a multi-entry, you do you. We're getting down to the end of the season, man. Have fun. But in a cash game, I don't want really anything to do with either one of these teams except for the defense. And it sucks because A-Chain was going to be my most used running back by far before Tua was out. And he still has a possibility, don't get me wrong, to have a good game. But you look at like the difference in his points per games with Tua and without, it is stark just this season.
Yeah, and really quick, it looks like about 20 hours ago, it was reported that Tyler Huntley could start with Tua doubtful, and then you look at all the comments. Tyler Huntley's about to win me my championship in the wake of Jalen Hurts not being active. So who knows? Who cares? I don't wish harm or anything on a player, but whoever's going to start is going to start. 2 questions that popped up quickly. Victor Wynn asked McMillan or Garendo. To me, it's McMillan. You answered that. It's a half point PPR and first down. You get a point here. And yes, Scott, that's Arizona Coyotes jersey hanging back there, customized. It says Beastie. In the comment before that, Alex says Rico Dowdle or Spears. Depending on the setting, which way are you going to go? You had a strong stance on Spears. I mentioned Rico Dowdle as an anytime touchdown. What are you doing here?
I would probably rather have Spears. I know that sounds insane, but I like what I saw from him. He's so much more involved in the passing game than Tony Pollard is when he's in there. And I think that let me put it this way. It needs to be PPR. I should probably preference it that way, because otherwise I think you still should start Dowdle. We've just seen he gets the red zone. He gets all the work. But if it's PPR, I think Spears catches more passes. Jacksonville's a much worse defense than Philly. I would lean Spears.
Yeah, and hang tight. I'm going to get the jersey down real quick to answer Scott's question. Well, there was maybe 2 or 3 seasons ago, there was like a 10-game span when I was right before I joined for Six Pack, when I was writing and broadcasting daily about NHL DFS, and they averaged like 4.5 goals a game for like a 10-game span, and I won, and everybody that listened, we won tens of thousands of dollars. So as a gift, my friend Kelly in Phoenix, she's in Phoenix, sent me this jersey customized as a gift. And if I take it down, I'm good up top, but I have basketball shorts on the bottom. So
yeah, sure you do. Likely story.
It's a legit jersey. I've always liked the why is there's a weird Picasso kind of coyote with a hockey stick, and it's solid. It's all stitched. It's legit. And we got the Beastie like 84 is the year I was born.
I've never seen it up close like that.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. And look at the colors. Like they shine, right? I have this lamp. It's like the sun here, but it's pretty cool. This is what their logo that's what they play with now, but there was a time where it was a little bit, the Coyotes still look like that back when they were an expansion team and Jeremy Roenick was their stud, their star. Remember, if you remember Roenick, his face is like, he's like a clay face because he's been hit with the puck so many times in his face. But as we get back to the action here, we got about 12 minutes to 1 o'clock. I'm double tight end this week with Kincaid and Ferguson. That's beautiful. I try and pick 2 tight ends if it fits, if it feels right. If it feels wrong, it's probably good. If it feels right, it's probably wrong. Who knows? I mean, so give me the double tight end. What I say at the beginning of the broadcast, worse off, Jawan Johnson and Foster Moreau is my double tight end for the Saints. I mean, that's just, you might as well, put a belt around your neck and go till you get off. I don't know what to say. It's nuts with Jawan Johnson and them. And as we go down, Browns defense, Eagles defense, probably the Browns, as you said, because that game that's realistically the one of slim pickings for defense. Let's talk about Green Bay and Minnesota. Unless you got something on the Falcons at Washington tonight, and it's still a football game, you can still play a single game slate. I'll have a video out shortly, and it is your hometown team. They're in Washington. Playoff implications there as well. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I'm nervous. It's going to be a really tough environment for a QB making a second start. Like it just is. It's part of the reason why I wish they would start him in Vegas. This would have now been his 3rd start, not his, first start on the road. But I do think we can win. I definitely do. I think there's going to be points. I believe that both of these defenses you can get after. And I think that both of these offenses are going to score points. I really like, again, London. I think you looked last week at some of the metrics. He was targeted a lot. I mean, Penix just, again, obviously I'm looking for this advanced stats. 4th among all QBs last week in catchable throw rate, meaning that his passes were catchable to the receivers. He was pressured 9 times. He took 0 sacks. Like there was a lot of stuff that makes you feel good, like that this kid's ready. The problem is on the other side is Jaden Daniels, and we saw what he did, versus Philly, which is 5 passing touchdowns as he ran for like 70 yards. So I don't feel great about it, but I'm hopeful. Let's put it that way.
And at one point, and Fantasy Six Pack just commented it. Calvo asked, what's up, guys? Downs or Debo? It's Downs, and I'm not even thinking twice. Even the San Francisco media has said Debo is, slowed down tremendously. Right now, what I say last week, he's like the Tin Man. If you don't use him, he just locks up, and it's bad news. How the mighty have fallen. They played in the Super Bowl last year, and now they're not even going to make the playoffs. I don't even know how many wins San Francisco has. Can only retain so much info.
I believe it's 7 right now.
Yeah, I was going to say 6, something like that. And Atlanta at Washington, I mean, what are you going to do? Personally speaking, DFS stuff aside, what the heck are you supposed to do with Kyle Pitts? I mean, the dude just basically, it looked like when you're playing in the backyard and you lateral the football. He literally he handed it to the other. I mean, I don't know what you're supposed to do. Generational was tossed around how many times with him as some hybrid kind of guy. And now he's lucky to get, 35 yards a week. Talking about him.
He went right before Jamar Chase and Penei Sewell. That won't haunt me for the rest of my life. That's okay.
That's nuts. And Jamar Chase worked out, but I'm for Cincinnati, but I'm glad the Lions were. That's what started the Lions' whole.
I would rather have the can't miss left tackle. He'll be there for 15 years. I think Pitts just needs a new situation. Sadly for us, I think that there is going to be one of those deals that we're going to let him go, and you watch, he'll go somewhere else
and have a career year. Double-digit touchdowns.
And again, now he's not ever going to be worth the number 4 pick, but I think we've seen this with like Jared Cook. We've seen this with Janus. Like we've seen this with tight ends that have a lot of talent that sometimes you just got to have the right guy, to kind of coddle them along. So
late in their 20s, earlier in their 30s, the 5th, 6th year breakout, the ever elusive. Let's rewind back. We got about 7 minutes left here, and we'll speak on Green Bay and Minnesota. Personally speaking,
Lions both lose, right?
Yeah, I mean, actually, a tie wouldn't do. I guess a tie wouldn't matter. I mean, a tie would be as good as a loss for Minnesota. So, out of 3 different outcomes, 2 of them would benefit. And I'm being, being awfully homer here. Homerism, shady. I need the Green Bay Packers to win, and then Minnesota will lose. And then if we win tomorrow, number 1 seed throughout the playoffs, we'd win the NFC
so wait a minute.
North.
So if Minnesota loses and y'all win, no matter what happens week 18, y'all
Correct.
are number 1 team. Okay, I did not know
Correct.
that.
So need Green Bay to win, and they can do it, right? I mean, Green Bay and Minnesota, divisional foes for how long? I don't know what the record is lifetime. It could be 91 wins to 91 wins, something like crazy down the middle here. But Minnesota's at home. Their fans are insufferable, most of them. I keep seeing that stupid meme where it says, it's showing a picture of Tiger Woods and John Daly, and it's like, the Lions are 13-2, their best record ever, and then Minnesota's in a rebuild and they're third. It's all good, so we shall see. But when we look at this from a DFS perspective, there's a lot to be said here. The over under is at 49 total points, by far the highest over under on the main slate. Monday night's at 50.5. The Lions might be able to carry that by themselves. But when you look at the Green Bay Packers in Minnesota, we have to strategically weave our way here because Minnesota's dead last against opposing wide receivers. Jaden Reed, can he finally put together a game where we're like, oh yeah, we forgot Jaden Reed has been a touchdown monger in his brief career, but he hasn't done much the last few weeks. Romeo Doubs, Dontavian Wicks, Josh Jacobs is going to carry the ball 20 times in a perfect setting. Minnesota isn't this world beater, or their fans. I'm not trying to get personal or put Minnesota Vikings fans down, but the Minnesota Vikings think very highly of themselves in comparison, to some other teams. Like playing at Lambeau Field or Arrowhead, that's definitely, a mismatch for the opposing team. You don't want to play on the road against those teams. Minnesota looks at their stadium as like this wild advantage, but they're just, they are what they are at home. It's nothing
Chris,
crazy.
Atlanta won an NFC championship in there. They ain't that fucking good at home. Okay.
Just because they always scream skull and clap together. They think that's like there's some big home field advantage here, but that would be sweet to see Jordan Love and Josh Jacobs absolutely smash Minnesota at home, or win by 1 point or tie. I don't care. What are you doing from a DFS perspective? And before you answer that, if feet to the fire, you have a gun to your head. Sorry to sound so grim. Which wide receiver, who's the better wide receiver too? Jordan Addison or Jameson Williams in Detroit? Your thoughts?
Right now, Jordan Addison. I think Jameson Williams will be the better number 2 wide receiver. I think the Lions are learning. You got to unleash the beast, man. He was my favorite wide receiver in that class. I think he's the most talented wide receiver in that class and the years before. I freaking love Jameson Williams, but Addison is really good, and he's one of the guys in this game. Both of these teams so good versus the run, particularly Minnesota, to where Love's going to have to throw. That's really good for Tucker Kraft, Reed, and Wicks, because the Vikings run a ton of zone. Those are the 3 guys that have feasted on it. Both Wicks and Reed's biggest game came earlier this year versus these Minnesota Vikings. But on the Minnesota side, I really like Darnold at his price tag, because, you just look at all the games with 19 points or more he's had this year. And, yeah, if you want to spend up to Jefferson, that's fine. I would rather play Addison and Hawkinson. Addison has actually been better versus zone, which, again, the Packers are a team that run a ton of zone defense. And with Addison, you're getting a guy getting like 85% of the volume that Jefferson is over the last 6 games. He's seen 8 or more targets, and 5 of his last 6. He saw 6 in the only game that he didn't. But I think there's a ton of points, and most of my lineups, like the most cores where there's at least 2, 3, 4 players, come from this game because it's indoors. It's a meaningful game, and I think that both these teams have an advantage throwing the ball. That's where they can really pick apart their opponent.
I disagree to a certain extent, because the Green Bay Packers secondary is pretty solid. They're 2nd overall against opposing wide receivers. They're 3rd overall.
Have you seen their last 8 opponents though? Like, go back and look at the QBs they played. It's dog shit. Like, it really is. And that matters. Like, that's how that stuff happens. Like with Miami with QBs. Well, when you're playing, Aaron Rodgers and friggin' before Drake May, what was the guy for New England? Those kind of guys.
Jacoby
That stuff,
Brissett.
that stuff adds up. Like it really does.
Yeah, absolutely. And it could be, Sam Darnold's in a very important spot. Has he played an NFL game as important as this one? Week 17, need a win to keep pace in the North and the NFC playoffs. I mean, if they lose and they'd have to go on the road with 13 or 14 wins, that's never happened in the NFL. And could see a case where Minnesota or the Lions would be on the road, the 5th seed, and who would it be? Against the Atlanta Falcons, maybe, or Tampa Bay? It would probably be the winner of the NFC South, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. So Sam Darnold could have 3 touchdowns and Minnesota wins, or he could have 2 to 3 interceptions and Green Bay wins. I'm excited to see this one. And before we split, we could have worked this out, instead we're going to work it out on the fly live on air. But as you see things now throughout the week 18, the wild card round, divisional round, we're going to have some sort of broadcast. If it's me alone, you with me, you're going to want to be alone. We shall see. We're just going to need a time and a date. Might be just kind of, rolling, because wild card weekend, there's 2 games on a Saturday, then there's 2 games on a Sunday, and we'll go from there. But our DFS services will not be leaving anytime soon. So anything to say before we split here, Keith?
Yeah, I ain't got shit to do. So of course I'll talk DFS. I'll be building lineups whether we're doing shows or not. So I'm down, man. 110%. You let me know when and where I'll be there.
My notes will always be done, whether there's a microphone or a camera, as I've always said. So everybody be good, be safe. If you're going to drink, don't drive this in the next few days with New Year's Eve. You don't want to spend the new year in jail or dead. That's not good to do. And so be good, be safe, and we'll see you again very soon. Sunday Night Football, you'll see my face, and then Monday Night Football as well. See you, boys.